bringing the Friday early, and hopefully everyone's doing good. Good morning, Vooka Nation. My name is Manny, and welcome to the Vooka Breakfast Show. It is a Thursday morning, and the time right now is 5 minutes after 7. We stream live weekdays, Monday through Friday, from 7 a.m. until 10 a.m. Welcome. And if this is the first time that you're joining us, you are absolutely welcome. This is the Vooka Breakfast Show. We talk all things positivity, and we give you that daily dose of motivation for you to kickstart your day. Yeah, man, it's a Thursday, the day after Heritage Day. My Heritage Day was epic because we went and spent it at Soweto Backpackers. It was absolutely phenomenal. We got to meet a couple of tourists, have some beautiful conversations, and in fact, I was told that today they're going to also be having a storytelling session with Freddie Gwala, with Keke. She does beads and storytelling. This is how we are, going back to our heritage, our roots. And this is one thing that I believe most of us, let me just turn down the music here a little bit. Yeah, man, so when it comes to heritage, most of us know that as Africans, we used to pass down stories through heritage, through storytelling, right? So, and this is one of the things that is a lost art. And yeah, hopefully we can fix this, man. And yeah, today at about 5 p.m. at Soweto Backpackers, there will be a storytelling session, and I'll try and see if I can pull up the image a little bit later on. But yeah, good morning, welcome. We do have a jam-packed episode for you. And yeah, tell me, how was your Heritage Day yesterday? Did you get up to something interesting? Please let us know in the comments. And yes, we did run a competition with Nosh Foods Rescue because they were also at the Soweto Backpackers. In fact, they were running this entire initiative of the odd dinner plate. I'll play a video for you a bit later on, but you'll see that the video basically talks about the entire experience that most of us, and I'm talking about people like myself, where I really consider myself to be privileged. And we do come from a place where sometimes we take small things for granted, right? A simple thing like food, or if there is that one extra slice of bread inside the packet, we tend to leave that and maybe even throw it out. But what Nosh Food Rescue is doing is they are rescuing food that would otherwise be thrown out and repurposing it or reusing that food and creating something delicious. And what they've done also is that they've partnered with culinary schools, prestigious chefs, and they take that food that would otherwise be thrown out. I mean, we're talking about food from a supermarket, we're talking about food from a grocery store, or even the fruit and veg markets, and they take that food, repurpose it into something delicious. So yesterday we were eating an all vegetarian diet, and it was epic. But the way that Chef Fatima came through and worked her magic, it was awesome. The food tasted absolutely phenomenal. And not just that, we also had conversations, we had smiles, we had music, we had dance. There was a band that was performing. So it was all things heritage. I felt it. I absolutely felt it. And the other thing about heritage as well that I also saw on the day is that it's not only a black thing. You know, culture is what we create as individuals. And I saw that with the Rainbow Nation, everything came through to such an extent where, hey, this is a Rainbow Nation. This is culture. This is our heritage. And I remember, or I think I was just not eavesdropping, but it's something I heard that also with heritage, it's something you inherit. So it's something that they leave behind for you. So it just got me thinking. It really got me thinking that in as far as heritage is concerned, what has been given onto you, whether it's through your parent, that lineage, through their parents, right? So you do have a heritage that's specific to your family. We do have a heritage that is South African based. We do have a heritage that is African based. You know what I mean? So when it comes to heritage, let me know what has been passed down in your family, like a traditional, a family heritage, as well as your culture as well as SA and Africa as a whole. In fact, the entire world. Right. So, yep, that's Heritage. That happened yesterday. So, yep, the time right now is 10 minutes after 7. So when I come back from the break, I'll be giving you your news, your sports. And after that, I'll play you the video that, we were out at Label Soweto Backpackers. Hopefully you enjoy it. In fact, some of the guys here in studio were telling me that, Banele, this video is quite good. This is the stuff that should be aired on TV. And I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, I remember having a dream of wanting to, work in television or radio. And funny enough, I'm seeing that dream materialize, but in a different way. Okay, so as we know, with TV, things are a bit different nowadays in 2025 because, yeah, man, right now, who watches traditional TV? I know people do, but I think in my circles, I know a lot of people don't. So I think YouTube is the new TV. And with that being said, we're going to take a quick break. And then when we come back, I'll give you your news and sports headlines for today.
How? Tommy, you still cooking with cha, salt, and prayers. Yo. But don't stress, ungawari, because your time to shine in the kitchen is here. Amapele Pele Spices for Africa and the Vooka Breakfast Show have said, let's bless you with some spices that will slap harder than Umama's 7 colors. Vooka Flavor Fridays is here. We're serving flavor, vibes, and vibes with flavor. Flavor Fridays is the only plug you need to turn your kitchen into a 5-star chill spot. For 8 weeks, you stand a chance to win spice hampers that take your meals from meh to just by subscribing and tuning into your daily dose of positivity for an energetic start to the day. So Hypo, what are you waiting for? Don't miss out. Flavor is calling. Waza.
All right, Vooka Nation, welcome back. And the time right now is 12 minutes after 7. And as mentioned, we're going to be giving you your news and sports headlines for this morning on the 25th of September. And I know for most of you guys, it is payday. And hopefully, you'll spend that money wisely. Yep. And yesterday we were also with Osvaldo as well, a financial expert. So he comes on the show regularly and talks about financial advice. But then yesterday he was talking about something quite profound where we were working on our inner game as individuals. Okay, so I'm going to give you your news headlines for this morning. And the first one here is Ntando Duma fined for unauthorized use of campaign photo. EFF member and actress Ntando Duma was ordered to pay over 27,000 Rand after using a Pexel collective photograph in a Simba campaign without permission. The agency sued for 200,000 Rand, citing copyright infringement and production costs. The court found Duma had only been granted limited image rights and ruled the photo was used unlawfully. Despite the agency's expensive claims, the court awarded a modest sum, prompting Duma's legal team to consider appealing or letting the matter rest. Moving on to your second news headline, Castle of Good Hope celebrates unsung heroes' legacy on Heritage Day. On Heritage Day, the Castle of Good Hope honored unsung heroes who resisted colonial oppression, including tribes that fought Dutch and British forces in the 1870s. Adrian Manuel of the Klipfontein, a Burgondian royal kingdom, declared the day as a symbolic rebirth of Khoisan people, highlighting their centuries-long struggle through slavery and apartheid. Despite recent progress, Khoisan communities continue to seek recognition and justice from the government. And then moving on to your last news headline, civil groups demand Joburg mayor resign over infrastructure failures. The coalition of civil organizations, residents, and activists called the Joburg Crisis Alliance is demanding the removal of Joburg's mayor and infrastructure MMC amid worsening water shortages. Groups like the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation, Outer Water Can, and Defend Our Democracy have united as communities such as Ivory Park and Ebony Park faced dry taps on Heritage Day despite repeated government assurances. So that's it for your news headlines. We will come back and unpack these news a little bit more. And then moving over to your sporting news, starting off with international football, Barcelona Gavi out for up to 5 months. Barcelona midfielder Gavi injured his right knee in August and underwent surgery for a medial meniscus injury. Avoiding a repeat of his 2023 ACL tear, he is expected to be out for 4 to 5 months. Gavi debuted in 2021 as Barcelona's fourth youngest player, scoring 10 goals in 155 appearances and winning 5 trophies. Barcelona currently sits second in La Liga, trailing Real Madrid by 5 points with a game in hand. And then moving on to your second sports news headline, Cam Roygord confident ahead of All Blacks doubleheader against Old Foe. A win at Eden Park would secure the Bledisloe Cup for the All Blacks before their final test in Perth. Half-black Cam Roygard emphasized the team's strategic approach and praised the backline's growing confidence. He highlighted threats from the opposition, including James O'Connor, and stressed the importance of preparation. Roygard returned to play with Counties Manukau to regain fitness and express frustration over the loss of Springboks, vowing a proud performance on Saturday. And then your last sporting news headline, Tepo says Carling knockout upsets against Mamelodi Sundowns. Gallants defender Tepo remains confident ahead of their clash with Mamelodi Sundowns, despite acknowledging the challenge after a 1-1 draw last week. He believes both teams are evenly matched, even though he initially hoped for a less formidable opponent. Tepo insists Gallants are not intimidated and aim to score early, trusting in their attacking strength. So that's it for your news and sports headline this morning. And before we start the show, you know we do have a tradition on the show where we showcase picture of the day, but then we're going to showcase that a bit later on. So as promised, I will play you a video from yesterday's Heritage Day that we spent over at Lebu Soweto Backpackers, and hopefully you'll find this insightful. So some say, hey, this is TV quality, but I'm like, hey, it doesn't matter. This is what we do right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show, and we give you the quality exclusive. And I looked around and I felt, hey, no one's doing what we are doing, so I think we're off to the right start. We are forming these partnerships, with the likes of Lebu Soweto Backpackers, and it's proving to be quite profitable, if I may say, and not just in money, but also in plowing into the community and investing or planting that seed of growth that will foster a culture in the near future that will thrive and make us all proud. So we're going to take a short break right now, and when we come back, we will then get into the little documentary that was shot, and hopefully you like it, and I'll see you right now in a bit.
My name is Musi Mist.
My name is Moketi Maimane.
Catch us every weekday morning, Monday to Friday, between 7 and 10.
Right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show, brought to you by the Blinko Network.
Always bringing you the best content possible.
Vooka Nati, wake up with us and kickstart your day on a great note.
This is your energetic start to the day.
How? Tommy, you still cooking with char, salt, and prayers? Yo, But don't stress, ungawari, because your time to shine in the kitchen is here. Amapelepele Spices for Africa and the Vooka Breakfast Show have said, let's bless you with some spices that will slap harder than Umama's 7 colors. Vooka Flavor Fridays is here. We're serving flavor, vibes, and vibes with flavor. Flavor Fridays is the only plug you need to turn your kitchen into a 5-star chill spot. For 8 weeks, you stand a chance to win spice hampers that take your meals from meh to just by subscribing and tuning into your daily dose of positivity for an energetic start to the day. So Haibo, what are you waiting for? Don't miss out. Flavor is calling. Waza.
Sawubona, Dumelang, Absheni, Jambo, or from my language, being Swedish, hey hey, and welcome to Lebo Soweto Backpackers.
It's about imagination and a willingness to experiment.
What is it that I'm going to walk away with in this event?
A full belly and lots of smiles. Odd plate dinners, where we take some of the surplus that we rescue, we bring it all together, we present it to some professional chefs and sometimes some culinary students, and they make this beautiful spread out of all this rescued produce, just to show that just because it is surplus to requirement or it would otherwise go to waste, we can still do something amazing with it. This time we've got the principal and students from the Soweto Chefs Academy that are going to come and join the Labels team, and we're going to be doing all the cooking with all the rescued surplus. So what we do as Nash is, with respect to the food rescue, the chocolates that I brought you guys this morning is rescued produce. It's produce that otherwise would go to waste.
It doesn't matter which type of vegetable is it, as long as we can utilize it, we do something out of it and we make it eatable.
Right here, I've got a cold soup, guys. There's a lot of ingredients infused in here. I'm seeing carrots, grated potatoes. I'm seeing okra. There's some red sparkle beans. Guys, there's a lot of flavors infused. So we're enjoying a vegetable buffet, guys. No meat and everything tastes very nice. We're out here at Label Backpackers. Enjoy.
I'm Maria Malepa from Lebo's Soweto Backpackers. Very excited today as we are having just a hub of activities here today. Excitement of people celebrating Heritage Day. And yes, Lebo Soweto Backpackers is a tourism hub right in the heart of Orlando West in Soweto. Founded by tourism pioneer Lebo Malepa. Back in the day when most tourists were just coming in buses and viewing the township from a window, really. So he started offering walking tours, bicycle tours, and later on tuk-tuk tours. And not only that, but an opportunity to stay overnight in Soweto. And this is not only for tourists, it's for locals. So we've been running this business, carrying the legacy of Lebo, and really just continuing with the pioneering experiences that Lebos has to offer. So that's who we are, that's what we do.
So what we've done here, we have soup. It's one of our cold soups. Our cold soups, it's starters. We're serving them as starters. And this is being prepared from the same vegetables that Hanaka, the owner of Nosh, supplied for us today to prepare for the guests. Here it's our burger with stir fry with the same vegetables, and what we did with a bit of our cheeses also in there. And we prepared as well our steam bread, where we infused the steam bread with the same vegetables, to show our steam breads. You can prepare your steam bread with some vegetables. It's a heritage meal, heritage vegetarian meal. What we've done is for our health, but we need to balance our health with desserts, fresh fruits. We've prepared fresh fruits. We have a bit of sweet inside also, like our little small cupcakes, colorful.
being Heritage Day, we're just very excited that we're going all out to celebrate South African heritage, our rich culture, and we all know that the South African heritage and culture is just a big melting pot of just different cultures, multiple languages, different lifestyles, and whether we're talking traditional, cultural, or we're talking about today's urban, vibrant, culture that we find here in Soweto. And me, being from Sweden but lived here for 18 years, it's just been an amazing journey for me to get to understand the South African society, culture, and what really makes, up the fabric of the South African society. So that's what we're celebrating today. And really, as Levels backpackers, I think we celebrate Heritage Day every day. We're deeply rooted in the love for showcasing what South Africa is about for our international travelers and connecting with our fellow locals and really celebrating what we are all about. So, yeah, that's Heritage Day at Levels.
I think it's super important, and obviously Heritage Day. I mean, I'm not a born South African. I'm Dutch, but I still consider, having lived here for so long, I still consider a lot of South African heritage mine. But I would like to explore a lot more. So what's very interesting for me is also that we're having it in Soweto, because a lot of people outside Soweto may not consider what happens here or happened here their heritage. So I love the idea of bringing people from outside Soweto into Levels and bringing the tourists and the backpackers that are here into our level of heritage. I consider it our collective heritage. And I think everybody should, but not everybody does.
Hi everyone, my name is Elia Zluza and I am 16 years old. I've been doing modeling for the past 11 years. To me, heritage means the ability of embracing yourself, being unique, as well as knowing your roots and your culture. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Pati Mota. I'm with my team member Rutendo Mameta, and we are from Soul Indigenous Life. SOIL, that's an acronym which stands for Soul Indigenous Life, and we are farmers, organic, who are based in Orlando East, where we have an organic food garden which grows indigenous food crops and also mixed crops.
Yes, so today we are collaborating with Nosh Food Rescue. I've known Hanneke, the founder of Nosh, for over a year. Last year she came through on this day, and we just thought it was going to be fitting to continue that collaboration. And it's really about celebrating this day through food, but not only just eating and enjoying a good meal, is to shine the light on food security, being able to cook up a meal of ingredients that were otherwise going to be thrown away by our grocery stores, by our fruit and veg markets, and so on. A lot of food gets wasted, gets to be thrown away when it actually can feed thousands and thousands of people in this country that otherwise would go hungry. So that is the core job of what Nosh is doing. And as Lebo Soweto backpackers working in our community, caring for our community, we really admire her work. And we wanted to put this Heritage Day lunch together with her so that we can really shine the spotlight of what she does in terms of feeding our nation. And so that's what we're doing today.
Hey, good morning, South Africa. Now, welcome back, man. Welcome back, Konalagu Vooka Breakfast Show. I hope you guys are feeling fantastic, feeling amazing. Please do not forget to put on that jacket, that extra layer of a jersey, because it seems like spring and Agasti, autumn, winter, it's not done with us. It's actually cold outside. So please make sure that you're keeping yourself warm, man. And to those who don't know me and to those who know me, I go by the name of Afriberry, also known as Miss Berry Blaze. The darker the berry, the sweeter than Dunduni, man. And I'm here with Mr. B. Now, Mr. B has already kept you updated with the headlines when it comes to the world of news and sports. But I'd like to go to this one headline, man. The first headline, Leagantando Duma, where she gets fined for unauthorized use of a campaign photo. Now, man, this is pretty hectic, man. Like, especially when you look at the fact that she's had so many things that have been going on around her. Especially things that have to do with the fact that they say that she is supposedly disrespecting her man, and she just got married and she just had a kid. You just got married, you just had a kid, now you're getting fined. Now more people are dragging you on socials for saying mean things about your man. There's like a lot going on, man. And I even forgot that she's actually an EFF member, Mr. D. Like, I literally forgot.
Mr. D.
Mr. B. Hey, DB. Like, I literally forgot that she is a member of EFF. Like, how do you even do that as a person? First of all, herself, she even owns a brand. And she even opened up a kiddie salon for her kid, like the firstborn. And then you know how brand image is very important and what role it plays in a person's career. And you know very well that when it comes to certain things, you need to ask for permission. Maybe she thought she could get away with it. Maybe she literally thought that.
So, I'll tell you this. I think, I'll tell you this, that when it comes to copyright, this is a space that we operate in quite a lot. And as a result, there is some things to consider. So, I've worked in the media space for quite some time, and as a graphic designer, I remember when starting out, when making designs for people, you would probably start out by taking images online and just using them randomly. So what happens is that a foundation was formed called the Creative Commons. So it's like a little CC right there. And what this basically did is to create a culture where, look, there are some images that one can make use of, but then you can use them, but not for commercial benefit, but you can use them as an individual. There are some images, or let me say intellectual property, that has been cleared, that you can use them and then remix them, right? So you can take a photo of me, and if it has been cleared under the Creative Commons, you can take that image and then remix it, or put it inside a poster, chop it up, do something with it. Okay, you can do that if it has been cleared for that. And then lastly, there's also the one where you can take the image and you can transform it to whatever it is that you want, and you can pass it on as well. So there are some of these copyright laws that one needs to be aware of. But if you're going to take an image that hasn't been cleared, that is copyrighted, then yes, such legal actions will come raining down your throat. The same thing here that we do in studio is that, you guys will probably hear some of the music that we play here. The music here is cleared through Epidemic Sound, which they have gone ahead and done all of the copyright and everything else. So we as YouTubers, we then have the ability to take the music and make use of it. Now, there is also a fine line between something called fair usage, and with fair usage, you can take something, and if it's done for the purposes of documenting journalism, or even critiquing, like in the news, then you can take an insert and use it for those purposes, that this was just to review, was to critique, or for the purpose of journalism, then you can use that. But the reality is that in the courts of law, the thing called fair usage is not even a thing. And that's the problem, Vooka Nation, where you think, hey, I took this thing and it's fair usage, but it's not. And then the last thing I'll say before we move on to, or we dive deeper into this, is sometimes we take images on Facebook or on Instagram and so on, and then we use it on our platforms. Now, when you take a look at the terms and conditions, and when creating an account on Facebook or these other platforms, some of these images are public images, and they somehow fall into the fair usage. But then if you're going to take something and make profit out of it, we're talking about something completely different here. So in this case, my take would be that, look, if they used an image or copyright or intellectual property IP that was not cleared, then yes, essentially that is the equivalent of taking money from someone else's pocket and benefiting. It's the same thing as walking into someone's shop and taking a physical item and then taking that item and then making profit out of it. I mean, what about the time that the photographer took? So some people just don't realize these small things, that if you are to take his into back doors and whatnot, you could kill the person, the creator that created these things. And these are the things that we are trying to fight for and advocate for when it comes to the creative space, because a lot of creatives don't get paid what they should, also in the music space. So yeah, if according to this article, the court just settled, is it 27,000?
Yeah, they settled for 27,000 out of the
200,000.
Yes, the 200,000 that they actually applied for.
Yeah, so I think this should then send waves throughout the industry that you can't just take something, whether it's physical or it's IP or not tangible or digital. You can't just take something and claim that it's yours and go and make profit out of it, even if it means you are starting a T-shirt business the next day and you decide, look, I'm going to take a T-shirt and I'm going to print SpongeBob. No, SpongeBob belongs to someone, guys. That's why there was a huge battle with China when they were creating these lunch tins, these apparel that had all of these cartoons, because you can't take something, an IP, an idea that someone else created and go ahead and profit. So if I created a character today and someone prints them on T-shirts, like, hey, what's the big deal? WWE was also trying to fight China about these, illegal use of their IP. Because you would see, kids love John Cena, kids love all things with colors. And yeah, about Frozen, Nan, if it's not cleared, guys, there's a problem. That's why you can't just take something and make it yours. I'll just leave it here and say it's called theft.
Hey man, it's a lot, because I'm actually reading right here now. And then it says, according to the judge, the case was pleaded to include various items, including a production manager fee. And then under the production manager fee, it's administration, coordinating task, responsibility, tracking deliverables, including data backup and digital storage for 1 year, which amounted to a total of 4.5. And then the use of a photographer, lighting, director, and editing of images, which was estimated at 14.6 thousand. And then a gear fee, including the usage of a Nikon D850 DSLR camera kit, which is 22,366 Rand, a total of production value, which is 41,466 Rand. In addition, the agency fee, which is 25% of the production value, to which estimated to 10,366 Rand and 50 cents. Advertising usage for website purposes, only 15% of production value, which amounted to 12,439 Rand and 80 cents. Internet advertising, which is 29,026 Rand and 20 cents. Usage across Africa, which is 125% of production value, which is 51,832 Rand and 50 cents. Damage and legal fees, which is 54,000 869 69 Rand. But Duma's lawyer, who is Muso Matlala, said our client is still considering her options, which turn on the same central factor. One, on the other hand, Pixel Collective was awarded 27,644 Rand of the 200,000 they claimed. And he continued, this outcome highlights the weakness of their case and may trigger the decision to appeal. On the other hand, the modest award may also suggest that the matter should be left to rest. Now, for me, I felt like because all of this was also regarding a Simba campaign, I also feel like Simba also didn't do their due diligence when it comes to checking up on the rights, when it comes to the pictures, whether or not they're quite right. Am I wrong to say that?
So typically what happens when working with an agency is that the contract that Simba would sign, they would relinquish all things production-wise or IP to the agency. So if someone comes through right now and says, guys, here's a campaign and I want you guys to work on it. So you'll probably find that in the contract, they will state that all legal things that may follow after this, that Vooka is responsible for, right? So that's the issue right there. So I don't think Simba is in the wrong. They were given a task, a job, and they got paid much more, right? So you could have just licensed it. Yeah, simple as that. And now they have to pay way more. And I think it's just a little bit disappointing that from a creative to other creatives, I mean, siyakhala as creatives, and if you're a creative and you take from another creative, that's just, yeah, man, it's just says, hey, I mean, you're taking from your own, right? So I remember there was a time when we were working on a campaign and someone asked, look, it's just a photo. It's just a photo. But then you don't understand that there's quite a lot that goes into it. So when you were breaking down that article that you were reading, we got to see that there was camera gear that was being used. There was lighting. But that's just the equipment, which is also expensive. And when it breaks down, guys, it's quite expensive. I mean, I'll tell you something. I think it was the campaign we were doing with Dobsonville Mall, we went there and that's when one of the cameras died. Until this day, the camera is sitting right there. And one of the clauses that we signed with Dobsonville Mall is to say, look, we know that we are coming there on our own accord, and you guys are not responsible for the damages or anything that might result as a result of us being there. So the camera's still sitting. Yeah, like the last time we repaired it, about around 6,000 rand. But so usually the contract between the creator or the agency and the one that is contracting the agency is that you will do all the legal work, and upon doing all the legal work, we will just pay for an output. That's it. So I think that's why in this case, they're the ones that are being fined as opposed to Simba. Yep.
Yeah, like it's a lot, man. And like you said, creatives are crying out there. There's a lot of creatives that have been losing bookings. Some are not getting bookings. Some are not making it. Some are not getting their money. And then really from one creative to another, it's very painful for a person to actually do that, man. I don't understand what exactly she was thinking at that moment, but clearly she was not at that moment, because you could have just asked for the rights, man. I think asking for the rights would have saved you a whole lot more money compared to you actually just using the picture without their permission. It could have ended.
Absolutely,
it could have been nice and simple, just the collab tag, and then you're done.
No, that's not how it works.
Johnny.
No, you pay for it. You pay for it. Like, for example, right now, we shot this amazing documentary yesterday, and we can either commission it, right, to the likes of Soweto TV and these other channels. But let's just say they took this, right, and they played it without our permission. It's a lawsuit. It's a lawsuit, it's a Vooka case, and we're going to get more money because it's theft. There's no way one can defend it. So even with the lawyers, the attorneys and all of that, the only thing they will argue for is probably a reduced fee, right? A reduced fee, because everything we shot there, the image, the footage, that's 100% ours, right? So they have to come to us and say, look, can we get clearance? One of two things. Either we can say, sure, without any cost, you can go ahead and use it. Or the second one is, but you got to pay up, because what's going to happen is that when you play this mini documentary on your channel, what's going to happen is after or before the documentary, there's going to be an advert. So it's like we are contributing towards you guys making a profit. And as a result, can we get a piece of that pie? Yeah. So then the negotiations would be how much? But it can't just be a tag, because there was gear that was used. We had to pay for certain things. There's transportation. There is money. There's money that was spent. So out of the goodness, I mean, maybe sometimes it's a foundation that's creating a little documentary. They want to piece together. But even the contract will then state that the use of this IP is only limited to what you guys are doing. You can't take this, even though I'm giving you the rights to use this on your website, and maybe on your website you have to put it as unlisted on YouTube. Cool, but you can't take this to Soweto just because I gave you the permission or the rights to use it in your domain. Doesn't mean you can take it elsewhere. So it's limited.
Okay,
so it's not just a collab unless we agree, unless agreed upon. But if, man, guys, pay up. There's a lot of money in SA, quite a lot of money in SA. And this is something I saw. Just because my pockets might be running dry, it doesn't mean that there isn't any money. Just like, when was it, last week, when we were talking about the revolution of AI, with jobs are going in the future. Yes, a lot of jobs will be displaced by AI, but it doesn't mean that money will now fall away. There's still going to be the same amount of money, or even at the rate that money gets printed, there's still going to be that. The only thing that's going to change is that how money now flows, because the way we see it today is that it's in wages. Like, you get a job and you get a wage. Mm-hmm. So if that accounts for 60% of a household income, then it will drop to around 30%, where in a household, 30% of the income that comes in is through wages. Now, the other 70% will be government, will be things like businesses, will be things like, selling something or doing something, or having these autonomous things that you do online. But nothing is, it's not like money is now going away because jobs are going away. No, it's just things are shifting, but there's still going to be money in the world, right? So, yeah, a lot is going to change. And one of the currencies that I also spoke about is data as well as media. So media and data as well as other things. So it's AI, media, data. There's these other two as well. These are going to be the new currencies moving forward. So when it comes to media, what we are doing and what Uduma took, which is media, this is currency. The same way you would buy a piece of land and then one day you can sell it at a higher price. Today, I can create this documentary or take photos or do something that tomorrow can bring me money. So that's how things are shifting. But guys, media, 100%, very important. Don't think go to that piece of content. Hence, there's a huge need to archive and classify your data. And it's something we were talking about right here in studio, that, look, guys, we shoot a lot of data, a lot of media, and as a result, it's a lot of data. And we need a way to archive it so that 5 years from now, I mean, think about it, where if we were to do this initiative next year, we would then go back to today's footage and reuse and repurpose that footage, right? Or someone wants to contact us and say, look, I saw that you shot 1, 2, and 3 from Label Soweto Backpackers. Can we use just an insert of that? Now, because I've edited that and I added music, I'll tell the person, yeah, but there's music over it. It's like, okay, no, now I can't use it. But if we archive it, it's data, it's currency, it's money.
Especially if they get the raw footage, right?
It's money. It's money. Yeah.
Guys, I went to class and I learned things that I actually didn't know about, which is very interesting, man. Hey, so as a creative man, be sure that you actually use other people's property with their permission. Don't be just out there using other people's property without their permission. The same goes for me. Don't use my pictures without my permission. If you're gonna advertise me, ask me first.
So I mean, as in Yazinto, I can use it, but if it's not for profit, then sure, why not?
Okay. You know what? I think we
because
need to
because there's this term personal things for personal use, and there's also for commercial use, right? So you'll see when you go online, even something as small as a font. Yeah, something as small as a font, and especially when you become big, when you see that you are operating in the spaces, then please get the clearance and the license. Because a font, someone else took the time, created the font, and the font belongs to them. So as a result, you'll see that particular font can get you in trouble. If you take the Coca-Cola font and use it, let's see what's going to happen. They're going to come for you. Because now there's brand association, right? There's brand association. And by using that, you are essentially creating war for yourself. And I think if you were to create these fonts, you take time, you using electricity, there's resources, and someone else just takes it. It won't be nice. So also when going on these websites, you'll see that there is fonts that are cleared, fonts that are cleared for commercial use, which means you can make money out of them. And then there's also ones that you can use them for personal use, just not for commercial gain. So yeah, again, I'm just going to reiterate this before we move on, that when it comes to currency, nowadays data, systems in the form of AI, right? Media, that's where the currency is. So you can store your money in media the same way that in the past they would store their money, because keeping your money in the bank is not really a good idea, but they would store their money in artwork, where you would buy something from Van Gogh or from Da Vinci or whatnot, then you've got this art piece collection. So rather than keeping your money in the bank where it depreciates, you can then buy artwork, and then at a later date you can sell it.
Because Vela artwork actually appreciates, doesn't it? It doesn't depreciate as long as it's still kept in good condition, and it was never actually probably redone. It's still the original ink that they had, the original oil paintings that they actually had. So man, this is pretty interesting, And another headline that has me grappled, which is something that we actually discussed yesterday. It's basically civil rights groups demand Joburg mayor to resign over infrastructure failure. Now, a coalition of civil rights organization, residents and activists called the Joburg Crisis Alliance has demanded the removal of Johannesburg's mayor and infrastructure MMC amid worsening water shortages. Groups like the Ahmed Kathrado Foundation, Outer Water Can and Defend Our Democracy have united as communities such as Ivory Park, Ebony Park face dry taps on Heritage Day despite repeated government assurances. Now, yes, I think we were talking about Coronation Park and the fact that it actually doesn't have any water, and we also did mention the fact that for as far as we know, it's not only Coronation Park, but it also has to do with Johannesburg itself, the CBD, they also don't have water. Now look at Ivory, look at Ebony, Abana Maize. Like South Africa, there's a lot going on this year. Like, I don't want to lie. It seems like this year is just going to end with like a whole lot of things happening in and around South Africa that are just going to open our eyes in terms of how the government actually treats us. Is like, there's definitely a lot that's going on, man. Like, I didn't even know that there's actually an organization that's called Water Cannot Defend Our Democracy, which is pretty new and exciting. I actually didn't know about that. Man, what's happening with the water in South Africa? It's about time that our government actually just literally stands up and start providing for the people, and which is not what the government is not doing that. Why isn't our government providing for the people? It's about time that our government actually starts doing that, man. And this water thing, if you remember Hammanskraal was one of the places in South Africa that was complaining about water. They went on for days, for months, for years without water. And when they finally did get water, and not even the whole of Hammanskraal, half of Hammanskraal got water, and then the water was dirty. It was not a little dirty, like the water, up around, like it's when you look at the water, it's basically almost like mobu, and then antamobu, and just literally just poured all of that water down the pipe, which is not healthy, man. Like, we've had a water crisis for the longest time, and our government is not, instead of improving and making sure that we stop having such water crises, it keeps on getting worse.
Yeah, man. With the water issue, here's what I've noticed. In fact, with service delivery, it seems like the underserved communities, the ones that are impoverished, they're the ones that experience bad service delivery. And with that being said, right here in Soweto, you will also see the difference between the haves and the have-nots, right? Where there are communities in Soweto that have outstanding service, where water is, clean, they provide water, and then just separated by a road. Then you will see that on the other end, there are communities that don't have, right? So I agree. And what's also a little bit alarming to me, and I really don't understand the dynamics, is that you will take Pure Hostel, where just behind it there's the municipality that does, the whole water, sewage, and maintenance. But then for years, right in the middle of Pure Village, there's this open sewage that just flows like a river. You know what I mean? So it's I don't know.
It's bad, man. Like, abasnagageli, they don't care. It's bad because even Name Midlands, like, there's a part called Zone 4. Zone 4 struggles with water. Like, this is Zone 4. When you literally cross over to the other side, it's Zone 2. And then when you look at the other side, it's Zone 4. And on the other side, it's Zone 5. Zone 5 has water. Zone 4 doesn't have water. Zone 2 has water. Zone 6 has water, but Zone 4 doesn't have water. How does that happen? And then sometimes it leaps over to Zone 6. They sometimes don't even have water for like 3 days. And you literally just see people push a trolley, picking up a baguette, crossing over to the other side just to go fetch water. Like, this is something that we have that our forefathers have fought for. The right to water. It's even in the Constitution, but they're not given the people water.
I mean, when it comes to city planning, man, also with the electricity issue, when it comes to the planning or the infrastructure, remember back then, the township, or Soweto as we know it, it was planned for a family, right, of Kushukuti. The family lives in a 4-room house, and there is one toilet, and you probably cook as a whole. And then even back then, there were like coal stoves, a lot of them. So right now, a standard house in Soweto probably has back rooms. If not back rooms, maybe there's a bit of shacks and all of that. So people are cooking by themselves. There's water that's being used. And yeah, man. So the infrastructure right now is not accommodating the current reality of having multiple people making use of these infrastructure that's built right now. So it does call for either an infrastructure upgrade so that we don't have blocked pipes. It does call for an infrastructure upgrade so that we do have sufficient electricity, because usually around the summertime, that's when things seem to ease up a little bit because we tuck away our heaters. But for during the winter time, water and other things, we use a lot of that. And when things get blocked, it does cause a huge problem. So the pipe is this small, but then the influx or the pressure of water, and then as a result, it's like, let's shut down this community, let's shut down that community. So yeah, the right people to talk to, obviously it's our counselors, right? But then nowadays, counselors are cancelers. Like they just outright cancel the outcry of the community. So, hey guys, there are some counselors that, make use of that title and, do good things. A friend of mine is a counselor and I see him online. He posts on Facebook of the amazing work that he's doing. And you can see that his ward is actually picking up. But I don't stay in that ward. Maybe I'm only seeing the things that the good that he's posting. Yes, obviously, just like a household, there will be issues. But then if the plan is to solve these things as and when we progress, then 100%. It doesn't mean just because I'm successful as a counselor, it means there's no issues in my community.
Yeah, that's
I think
true.
a successful or a counselor that will have a positive outlook is one that is able to preempt and see issues before they even arise. You know what I mean? So you can see that the storm is coming, but some of them chill. And then when the storm is here and there's chaos and mayhem, then everyone wants to, blame and point fingers at each other. So yeah, I think some of these things, it's just purely looking at the future and seeing problems before they come and trying to mitigate them before they arrive. That's what I call leadership, in my opinion. Do we have enough of these capable leaders?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, we actually don't. Because it goes for the same as the councillor in my ward. I remember when they were actually fixing up the councillor's office themselves. It was a bit of an uproar because they ended up actually sourcing people outside of the ward itself. And by law, when there's any infrastructure that's happening within the council itself that does not need like your city power, your Joburg water in order for it to actually happen, that's when we start looking for people within the community to actually come and help, which is like basically part of the initiative of reducing unemployment within the community itself. And this person went ahead and hired people outside of the council, outside of the ward. And mind you, when they were fixing the offices actually supposed to like open last year during the month, and that did not actually happen. They actually opened later on, and before they even opened, it was one rainy, huge, heavy rainy day when it rained, and the roof literally caved in. The roof caved in. Like everybody was shocked. Would say, how can a roof cave in when you just fixed everything? You literally just got a contract to fix the ward, to fix the offices, make them nice, brand new, get a new wiring system put in, new ceiling, new roof. And after you guys just did all of that, it caved in. How does that happen? And he's not, for me, which is my grandmother's like kind of woman is like, don't badmouth this person, but then he's just not doing the job that he's supposed to be doing. For example, if I'm correct, I think 2 years back, I got awarded a contract to basically open a business in my hood. And I was going to do poultry. So I was going to have like an incubation of poultry.
You don't say Afribeer.
Sorry.
You don't say it. You like.
No, I still want to go. I still want to go back to that program because I literally.
Tina, we're out here starving.
No, man.
Give us eggs, chickens.
I lost the contract because.
Oh, you didn't start.
I didn't start. I asked the councillor, so nice, give me a plot of land. I don't want to go outside of my community. I see that people are struggling to get a job. Even with me, I struggle.
So you had identified the plot of land.
Yes, I had identified it.
Okay.
And I was like, you know what, as the councillor,
it's tough, eh?
This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got awarded a contract and I can open a poultry business. So meaning that I can employ people within my community. And I can even hire some that I know used to be security guards, hire them back as guards. Have certain people come and work for me. It was basically going to be a poultry farm where we do the whole incubation process. So the eggs and actually growing chicken. And now I went to this man. I literally gave him a file that had a whole pitch in there, and including the numbers of the people where I won the contract and I got the sponsor. Imagine the sponsorship was worth 100K. Like a whole entire 100K. Within that, they even helped me to find, they even helped me to find machinery that was not going to cost me that much. So I was still going to be left with something to literally build the whole infrastructure. Now I told him, no, this is what's happening. This is the certain amount that I have. The only thing I need is land. And I've seen that there's a certain amount of area that is actually not being used. How about I turn that into a land that becomes fruitful and people can actually use? Now he agreed. Now mind you, now I'm supposed to use the land. He disappeared on me.
Yeah.
I'll get back to you. I'll call you. I tried calling him multiple times. He did not answer. The deadline even went. That's how I lost money, man. It was I should be chowing. I would be chowing money right now.
Yeah, but can I tell you this? Ne? And I think for anyone that's young and upcoming, you'll probably see that for you to get to a point where you are making a profit in anything, you're going to first go through the first 3 years of struggle where you're going to be promised this, you're going to be promised that. And I think it's worse for you as females as well because especially there's a guy that I know, man, like something as simple as jobs at a construction site. He would ask for more than your qualifications, right? So it's worse for you guys, but essentially the pathway is like this, where you start out with something and at first the enthusiasm, the positivity is there. And then you're going to hit a slump and you're going to go down. And this is where most people give up. So my inspiration, motivation, because you love farming, is that you start with something, there's positivity. When talking to someone, it's like, hey, this person mentioned 1, 2, and 3. They said they will fund 1, 2, and 3, and you seem positive at the time, and then you start and you kick off. And then eventually when the interest or the interest from the person starts to decline and dive down, also your mood or your positivity starts going down. And it's at that point, at the valley, that's where most people give up. But if you persist through it and you pick yourself up, even though you don't feel like doing it, and then you stay on the journey, that's where a breakthrough will come through, right? So a lot of young people, they don't even know this. I mean, I had to see this because I saw this, that, hey, look, for anything that you want to build in life, you have to persevere and persist through it, right? So Vooka Nation, because Afriberry is the first, or she's the A-team of the Vooka Nation, right? Persevere through it.
Yeah.
Go back, type the proposal. It might not be the same person, and you might also not get into farming the way that you thought you would. Maybe you can do aquaponics, right? Where you start in your own backyard and you've got these vertical structures and you are growing all of these vegetables, and it's not the way you thought you would, but you can start and persevere through it, and trust me, you'll make it.
Yeah, because in all honesty, I was actually thinking of going back next year and reapplying for the program again.
Sure. So do two things here, right? There is assistance from the government, and then there is will, right? So for now, I think start with will. Just get a chicken that runs around in your own little house. Make sure on those days where it's like, hey man, Afriman, let's just take
I'm not
one
even
or two.
worried about my uncle eating, and I'm worried about my son befriending it, because whenever I fetch him from school, there's this other place where we pass, and they have chickens for sale, live chicken. You know what he does? Hello chicken, hello chicken. And I'm like, okay, what if it's now time to kill the chicken? And then he starts crying. I'm like, no, man.
Wait, why do you want to kill the chicken?
No, I'm just saying that in general, because he gets a bit emotionally attached.
No, not unless, you want to sell chicken.
Yes.
Like say Otiu and all of that. But I need to be, okay, sorry. Why did you want to go into farming for chickens? Do you want to get the eggs, or
Okay, in all honesty, I actually want a farm.
Sure.
Like literally a
Sure.
farm, right?
Sure.
So I love the whole concept, the idea. Ever since I was a kid, I loved the whole concept and idea of owning a farm and basically selling livestock.
But that's
then
like
with
5 years from now.
Yes, but
I'm
then
asking
with the
about
chickens,
yeah.
with the chickens, I saw it as like a much more easier way to start in terms of going into farming when it comes into poultry, and the fact that it has so many different roles. I could either just be an egg farmer and basically just sell eggs, or I could also grow the chickens and
Yeah,
sell
so-
them and sell live chickens. Or I could basically also there's another family member in my family. She's my grandmother, so she also has a whole chicken factory in her yard. So she was like also one of the main motivations into why I wanted to start a poultry business, because
100%, yeah.
with her, she basically even has a machine a wobulang. I get it in Zulu.
Pluck.
Yes. So she has that. So she sells the chicken live. She doesn't do the eggs. So she sells live chicken. And then if you want it live, you can get it live. If you want it plugged, and then you just have to deal with the whole cleaning process, dissecting it and all of that, you get it like that.
Sure.
So I fell in love with that. I was like, this is pretty
So
fascinating.
which one do you want to do?
I actually wanted to do like the whole three, like the whole process of it. Because for me, I feel
But
like
let's say you're gonna start off with one. Eh? Which one would you start off with?
if I start off with one, I'll probably just start with like having my chickens first. So
Yeah, but
basically
like-
selling
like
the live chickens.
Live chickens, yeah. So you're
Yes.
not killing them.
No, not killing
Yeah.
them.
So even if your son befriends them, there won't be any killing in the yard. The only thing that will happen is that he's probably gonna get attached to this one chicken, and then the day he comes back from school, it's like, Mama, where's maybe it's It's like, no, he had to go. But he'll get used to it. So what I'm saying is, go back, apply, but then two things. Yes, get the assistance, but also start with will. Will is just that thing of saying, I'm going to start with one chicken, and then two chickens, and then three chickens, and then four chickens. Yeah.
No, I'm definitely gonna go back and do that, man. Because like besides owning a chicken farm, I'd also like to own like a horse ranch.
Yeah.
So basically, the Bundus, here I come. I'm gonna leave this whole busy life and just go settle in the Bundus. Even right now, a friend of mine who's also an author and a poet, she literally she used to stay in Elders. She went back to the Bundus. It was like, you know what, the Joburg life was just getting a bit too much for me. So I had to just go back to KZN, and me and my husband and the kids, we just started a farm, and like I enjoy the farm life. I enjoy waking up in the morning, fetching my eggs from the chicken coop and just coming back to cook. I have my veggies over there. So that's how they live it. And for me, that's what I would also like for myself and my son. The whole serenity, the whole peaceness of it, the whole calmness of it. As much as I'm a loud person, I don't mind the lights, but I literally just need a place where I can just calm down, be myself, and relax. And for me, the farm is where I literally just want to see myself. That's where I want to see myself. Man, Vooka Nation, I hope you guys are doing fantastic, right? So right now we're going to take a little quick break. When we come back, we're going to dive into our daily bread and start off our history class. I hope you have your notebook, pen also ready there so you can take down some notes. But right now we live in the 21st century, so you don't necessarily need a pen and paper. You just go to your phone and just go to your notes and read up on everything that we have exciting for you, man. So don't move, don't ya guys. We are coming back right now just after this break.
How? Chomi, you still cooking with cha, salt, and prayers. Yo. But don't stress, ungawari, because your time to shine in the kitchen is here. Amapelepele Spices for Africa and the Vooka Breakfast Show have said, let's bless you with some spices that will slap harder than Umama's 7 colors. Vooka Flavor Fridays is here. We're serving flavor, vibes, and vibes with flavor. Flavor Fridays is the only plug you need to turn your kitchen into a 5-star chill spot. For 8 weeks, you stand a chance to win spice hampers that take your meals from meh to just by subscribing and tuning into your daily dose of positivity for an energetic start to the day. So, Hypo, what are you waiting for? Don't miss out. Flavor is calling. Waza.
My name is Musi Mist.
My name is Moketi Maimane.
Catch us every weekday morning, Monday to Friday between 7 and 10.
Right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show, brought to you by the Blinko Network.
Always bringing you the best content possible.
Vooka Nati, wake up with us and kickstart your day on a great note.
This is your energetic start to the day.
Escape the ordinary and discover the extraordinary with Swellapil Tours. Whether you're a group of friends or a family looking for a memorable getaway, Swellapil Tours has you covered. Our all-inclusive tours take you to South Africa's most stunning destinations, from the scenic beauty of Mpumalanga to the vibrant life of Gauteng and the coastal charm of Durban.
Welcome back, Vooka Nations, man. Right now, class is in session. It is now time for Today in History, where we teach you about the things that happened on today's date, very historical facts that happened very late. Way back, like way back. So right now, on our first history update, Henry Ford announces 8-hour workday and 5-day work week. So this is the person that made us work Monday to Friday. And wonke umuntu avela ayithatha.
No, the issue with that is that, hey man, some of us are not born to work like that.
Yeah, that's the problem. Not everybody is actually born to work Monday to Friday. Like Henry Ford, my guy. Manje awusekho emhlabeni usike ngale 8 hour yakho. Umuntu ungena 8 hours emsebenzini. Ungena Monday to Friday. Hi Henry. So the year 1926 marked a significant turning point in labor history with Henry Ford's announcement on September the 25th regarding the implementation of an 8-hour workday and a 5-day work week. At the Ford Motor Company, this decision made by one of the most prominent figures in the automotive industry had far-reaching implications not only for Ford employees but for labor practices worldwide. So we blame you for why we're always tired. And then Viva Frelmino rallies.
But just before we move on, Afri, so you know how God worked 6 days and rested on the 7th?
Like let's say di rona wait. Ene le modimo kgetile le Henry le ne ke nna tshwantsa bereke all that time hawa. So how did we get included in all of this? Like, I really don't understand. If you wanted to work 8 hours, just do your 8 hours. Don't include us. Why include us? Why usifaka elining asifuna ukungena? And then he did that, man. So it's very tough, man. I really don't like it. Like Monday to Friday warata.
Definitely not.
Okay,
no, I definitely don't believe.
I also don't, man. Like, seriously, 8 hours.
No, I don't believe. But now you must remember that my background is in the film industry, so we work generally a 12-hour day. And before you work that 12-hour day, you have to do prep. So I don't like somebody telling me you're going to work from 9 to 5. I like to work from a passion-driven place where I'm like really enjoying this thing that I'm doing, and there are no limitations, restrictions, and somebody telling me how much of myself I should give or not give. And if my work only takes 2 hours, then let me go.
Yeah, passion workers. Guys, we in studio with Lerato Shabalala Mini. Yeah, so I want to understand the Mini part. Is it like does your mom or grandmother have the same name and you're like a mini version?
No, that's actually my marital surname, but it's my marital surname.
Wait, let's start again. Reintroduce yourself. I wanna understand. So you are Lerato.
Yes, so my name is Lerato, and then my surnames are Shabalala. That's my paternal, and then my marital surname is Mini, like Emini.
Oh, double barrel.
Yes.
Oh, Emin as in daylight.
Yes.
Okay, but you just choose to write it as Mini.
No, but that's how you spell it. It's Hlubi, M-I-N-I. Mini.
Nini.
M-I-N-I.
Mini.
Yes, I'm Mrs. Mini Cooper.
Also, we've been I think we've been twanging it. So instead of saying Mini, we said Mini.
Mini, yes.
So that's where we lost it there.
Yeah, pela youngings nowadays, man, they, muntu uzobuya athi nami Shabalala.
Yo, like you don't understand. Like my name is for your cause.
Mini. You know what I mean?
Kamalaka kusuvuyo guys for your cause. Like njani.
Exactly.
Yes. Like,
but thank you for joining us. So today you came at a time where we are doing history lessons.
Thank
you. Again, Henry Ford introduced the whole 8-hour workday
and a 5-week workday.
But in China and Japan, they are piloting a 4-day week. Sorry, a 4-day week, working week, and then you rest 3 days. And they even have these pods where you can sleep during your working hours, where you can take a nice young 1-hour nap.
Yeah, I believe,
which is productive, right?
Yeah, because that's also what Google introduced years back, where there's even a movie about it. I can't remember what it's called, where they were assessing productivity and they realized that you get more out of people if they're happy and well rested. You get more out of a full person than you do out of someone who's drained, finished, and hates the process of coming to work. So, but I have this whole constitutional concept of work. I just feel like you putting monkeys in a box, and then you always making that cage or that box seem nicer. They're just making the box seem nicer.
Yeah, ngama end party.
Yes.
Ngama in celebrations.
Yes.
Hey, they're keeping us locked in there.
They're keeping you locked in there because they know if you can escape the matrix and you really start to look into yourself, there's so much you can find. And that's the journey I took. I used to work full time last year, and because now I project manage AA2 Heritage Hall, so I was working full time, and my passion project was going nowhere because I was serving someone else's dream, someone else's vision, and what I was most passionate about was dying in the process, but then at the time I was thinking, oh, my finances. And then just one day I decided that, I've lived my whole life based on my finances and I never make it from the 25th to the next month anyway.
Hey, Joe.
So why don't I actually just, I'm always broke. But so why don't I just focus on my thing?
Exactly.
Let me be broke doing something that makes me so full. And honestly, I don't regret it. I feel richer.
So it's been a full year now.
Yeah, yes, we are fully engaged with AA2 Heritage Hall from around January. Yeah, that's when I came on full. No, February. That's when I was on full force. And so everything we do in our family, we've inherited that whole thing of family building, family businesses, family investing. And I kind of understand because that was something our grandparents, Ephraim and Kinini, instilled in their
I just want to make sure the Vooka Nation hears.
that was a principle that they instilled in their family, and I also think that was their form of servant leadership. I think Ukoko Nomkulu Shabalala, they served the community, but they didn't allow their children to rise or grow above. It was always servant leadership. So every business they had, their children went and worked there, and they kind of learned that culture and spirit of servant leadership. So now I myself am experiencing that. I come to AA2 every day. I meet people who say, my name is on the wall, my father's name is on the wall, or people who come in and say, yazi AA2 besenza so. And then also then they invite me into their spaces, into what they are doing. And now, as a collaboration, we are all pushing this Soweto Art Mile, which stretches from Jabulani all the way to Soweto Theatre. And along that mile, you have your thesis, your Dr. Robert Sibukwe, AA2 Heritage Hall, Inside Out Music Jams, 5 Roses in Mfulo Arts Center, the Basketball Academy, which Soweto has the biggest sports precinct, by the way.
Nice.
And the biggest basketball academy in South Africa, by the way. And then you have Tsietsi Mashinini statue, which can be the next Hector Peterson if us as a community really work together and say, this is a landmark that we stand behind. You have Morris Isaacson Music Academy, which is producing professional musicians. I work with JOD. They are a staple at Nikki's every Saturday. They're 1918. Then you have Native Rebels, you have Krudo Mutwa, Kaya Elendaba Village, you have Soweto
Tourism.
Theatre. Yeah, and behind Soweto Theatre, hopefully one day we will realize Letambuli and Tate Kaifa Semenya's school. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, they actually have a school.
Well, it is supposed to have been, but they're applying for it. And
I know corner at the theater, inside the theater, right?
Yes.
There's these buildings off to the side.
Yes.
Those are the ones that are supposed to be demarcated for
the school.
Right? So we've got a little one here in studio.
So please don't mind. We have our little friend here.
Everyone. I thought I was inspiring, Ganti. This birth of a nation.
This is good.
No, man, this is okay. If my son was not going to school, I think I also would have brought my little one. I think Brother B also would have brought your little one. Would have been just chaos. But it was going to be nice.
We'll probably create a kiddies corner.
Man.
One day, that's the goal.
I think they should see us. He is going to school. I just said we're going to be late because now I think it's very important for our kids to see us. I think that we should shape what work looks like. And to inspire them. And also, for the longest time now, I didn't really know my parents apart from seeing them being my parents. Now, all of a sudden, my mom in her 50s, she's telling me they went to a club and my friends saw her and they were like, oh, you remind me of so-and-so, my granny. Look how, there's certain personalities of our parents we never get to see because, I don't know, we box each other. So I really believe in taking people out of that box.
And openness.
And the parents that I follow on social media, I follow a content creator called Yoza and her husband Kat, and they always playing with their kids. I also follow Belial and his son Kulo. They're always walking around Melville, and I honestly believe that, because they invite their kids into the arts, their kids are just going to be mind-blowing when they grow up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I really believe in that integrated parenting and showing them who you are outside of the way they know you.
Mrs. Minnie, yeah, what you just said is really profound. Can I just take a little detour? So when exposing your life to your kid or kids, ne? Is it something that's more intentional, manje, where you sat and thought about it that, you know what, I want to make sure that they see how I work, how I live, and what does this work-life balance kind of looks like?
So for me, in the beginning, after having my son, work took me away. Like from when he was 5 months, I had to go freelance in Cape Town. And then when I came back, he didn't recognize me. And then I got back into the work cycle here. And then I noticed that when he would fall, when he would cry, he would run to Aussie, you know. And for me, I just said, this one is mine.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I said, no way, not a chance. Umtana muzowa, and go run to. And I said, hell no. And so I just made it a point, Uti, any chance, even he knows, before we sleep, we have attention time. Tell me, how was your day? I tell him if I'm on the phone for too long, he knows to say, Mommy, I need your attention now.
Wow.
I think for me, the advantage is that I live at home and most of the time I always come back to him. So he's gotten used to the fact that he knows this one. Even if she goes, she'll come back. And if I'm going for more than like it's an overnight thing, then I let him know, you know what, I'm gonna go, but mommy will see you tomorrow. I'll try to bring you some goodies. I'm not promising. One thing that I do not like is empty promises. And one thing that I've taught my son is that, or what I've gotten him used to, is the fact that sometimes making promises is not a good thing because they can easily be broken. So because anything can literally happen. I can promise you 5 rand and then ilahleki. And then you look like a bad parent because and then so for him I literally tell him, look, I will try. If I can. Sometimes I don't even tell him that I'm gonna bring something. He just sees me out there with the goodie bags like, yo, today. So he knows when I go, I come back. Even if I go away for work for like 2 days, I always call up and check up on him. But then he acts like he doesn't misses me. He's like, okay, sharp.
Bye.
Until I come back, and then he starts running. Now starts jumping up and down. He doesn't want to get off. He wants to sit on my lap. I'm like, no, bro, you're 6. You're old now. And then it becomes a problem because now my baby brother now also wants to sit on my lap. So now I have 2 kids on my laps and they are heavy.
Hey
But
guys,
I think,
parenting is a beauty, man.
But I think you see exactly what you're saying. I think as people, we mustn't let go of that in general, because adults, we feel the same, but we don't say it. That's the difference between an adult and a child. But I think a promise is a promise. And I think it's a practice that you need to even treat adults with that same theory and concept of keeping those promises, because I know anyone who says to me, I'm going to do something and they don't do it, it hurts me just as much. But I won't communicate it because I'm not as pure as a child.
So then you apply the same thinking that even if it's a little baby, a little kid, toddler, that if you made a promise, you need to see that promise through.
Exactly.
Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, so let's just take a step back, right? So we've got Lerato Shabalala Mini right here in studio, and she is the project manager of Ayetu.
Heritage
Hall, right? And that's the one right here in
A2 Shopping Center.
Right? So I want us to talk about the history there, because before the shopping center was established, there was this
bioscope.
Yeah, well, it was a bioscope, but it was also dilapidated, left unattended to, and then came the whole mall, sorry. But then they also tried to preserve the heritage around that. So, because when I went there, I was like, oh, I can still see the heritage come through. So do you have any knowledge of how that went about and what was preserved and what is now the relationship between the heritage hall and the mall itself?
Okay, so if everyone remembers, while the AA2 was still laying unused, and remember, there were still things like Abantu Book Festival. And those things were happening because right across the road where LBC is, my dad, he had AA2 Lifestyle Center. So I'm just trying to show you guys, it's been generations of different people putting an effort into what we now see as AA2 shopping center, but the purpose has always been there. And I think we were always and have always been driven by that concept of moralizing the leisure time of Black people. So with AA2 Lifestyle Center, that was what my dad and I, because I was also helping him in the beginning there, was that he wanted to teach the art of appreciating wine, the art of appreciating, some things that we take for granted because you're chasing iplak. But, there's artistry in that, and there's a way of consuming it that is safe and responsible. Yabon? So then...
Funny enough, I'll tell you this, that so these are dynamic mics. Ne?
Okay.
It blocks quite a lot of the sound and only picks up what is in
directly
front of it. Yeah.
Okay, so then that was the first step, and through AA2, that's why Soweto got to experience the likes of Abantu Book Festival. But in the background, as a family and different generations, like if you look at our branding of AA2 Heritage Hall, you'll notice that it's all in small letters, and that is intentional to say that us as the next generation, the descendants of Umkulu Ephraim Nokoko Kinini Shabalala, we haven't lost the vision. Sometimes things take years, 10, 20, to eventually become what the vision is, but you just have to be consistent. So naturally, it was trying to raise funds to resuscitate AA2 as a cinema, but we all understand that the culture of cinema is threatened by video on demand. So it's a big risk for anybody to try to invest in a cinema structure. And so, funny enough, I learned this vision through somebody who came to AA2 Heritage Hall. So one of the other visions Umkulu and Koko had was to have a shopping center, but someone taught me that Umkulu's vision was that he wanted to have a shopping complex. This was now in the time of apartheid. He wanted to have he wanted to have a shopping complex that would serve people's basic needs. But right next to it, he wanted to have a club or a space of entertainment that was just a glass. So then when people were coming to attend to their basic needs, they would see people enjoying themselves, and it would draw them in, kind of like to say, you can take a downtime, and to be in a space where people will naturally go and which is essentially what AA2 cinema was. If you were in the space, it was your leisure time. It was instead of you being engulfed by the situation around you, here's a safe haven for you to come watch movies, engage in theater, just engage in arts and culture and explore that creative, passionate side of you that I guess apartheid and the time of the day was trying to kill, because that's where inspiration came from, right? It comes from that side of your brain. And so if you look at the AA2 shopping center and AA2 Heritage Hall, so it's still part of the vision realized.
No, now I can see that. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. I didn't know that Kulu had this vision of having a shopping center / complex as part of the whole experience.
And I like the fact that how
and it's there, it stands now. Like
it's standing there. It's very beautiful, and I like the fact that he said that he wanted to add a bit of a creative touch to it. And then you look at it, the murals on the wall, they just scream out art. They literally bring the place alive. It makes a person want to step in because of how bright, how colorful, how lively it is.
But there's actually, you see, with AET, it's gone through so many phases. Number one, while it was still like that, you remember that people used to come and do a lot of graffiti on the facade of the building. And so, you know, instead of treating it like vandalism, what it would do was then graffiti journalists would come to AA2 and then they would want to be curious about what is this building, gahle gahle. And it was international people that were following graffiti. They would come and they would like, what is this building? What is this? And then the graffiti culture started to re-narrate and revive the story of AA2 cinema. So even in creating the shopping complex, it was important to honor AA2 cinema in all of its stages, and street art did become a story platform for AA2 cinema, so it only makes sense. And then going back, I fortunately met Ubab Cyril, who used to run Mfulo Art Center, and then he told me that Ubab Bisto, so back when AA2 cinema was still in its heyday, there was a gentleman called Uba Bisto who used to hand draw all the posters. And Uba Bisto is still alive today. So he used to hand draw Ama posters. And then Uba Cyril told me that actually Umkulu paid for Uba Bisto to go study at Mfulo Art Center. And at the time, Mkulu was the mayor. And when Uba Bisto graduated from Mfulo Art Center, Mkulu went to receive, as the mayor, went to receive that certificate on behalf of Uba Bisto and gave it to him and honored him in that way. And then through that, right next door, Senzo Art grew up there. So Uba Bisto then with that trained Senzo. When he would come back from school, when he would teach Senzo how to do artistry. And now today, Senzo Art is practically the face of Soweto. So this is what I'm saying. One good deed passes down. Do you know what I'm saying? You think you're doing something for one person in vain, but you don't know how far that button is going to go.
I didn't even know that's actually how Senzo basically got into the world of art. And one thing is that if you know Senzo's murals, it's not only available in Soweto. I think I've also seen them, if I'm correct, sometime in Maboneng, besides Maboneng, I think in some places in Roseburg. It's basically the eyes. So and everybody, that's his signature. So if you see that, then you know that that's Senzo.
And Nando's commissioned him. He was a resident overseas, and now it's because he's found his niche and he's happy now to pass on that baton. So Senzo's now helping other artists leave Soweto, go overseas, find residency in Cape Town as well. So even with Usenzo Art, he hasn't stopped with what we see. And yazi mina Usenzo ngicela ukumbiza cause ngifuna ungibuza ukuthi lamahlo abhekeni. What are these eyes looking at? Mina, I want to know.
Because I remember I also got to like literally see him work in action. I used to work at White House in Meadowlands.
Yes.
So I remember when they were still building the pool. So I knew Senzo from SMJ. And then Sawubona Music Jam, because we also know that he does the murals there at SMJ.
Yes.
So I knew Senzo from SMJ, and then here I am working at White House, the building a pool, jiggy. How ndoda.
The eyes.
The eyes. He was there. He's the one who literally painted the White House, the very famous White House tree inside the pool. And I literally saw that. I was like, you know what? This is I know your artwork, but I've never seen you do your work or see you in action. And at this moment, I feel very honored to actually see you in your own space, doing your craft. I'm very excited because I've never seen you actually work in action, and this is pretty exciting for me. And I love the way he works, man. He works in such harmony. He's so relaxed. You would never even say that this person. He just paints and then sits back, relax, just has a looks at it, and then goes back and then goes back to painting. Man, his murals are amazing and beautiful, man. It's beautiful to actually hear that story.
And you must please visit his gallery now. He has his own house that he's converted into a gallery in Vilagazi, and he has his own house that he's turned into a gallery. And he's there's this tour by Tabo the Tourist called Tura Art. And so that's a tour that's being promoted through Tabo the Tourist. And Senzo's gallery is one of those features. But yeah, in Vilagazi, he has a house that is a gallery where you can interact with him, see more of his murals, and really pick his brain.
And then you get to see where the eyes are looking.
Yeah, man.
But you see, this just goes to show that as a Sowetan myself, there's quite a lot that I don't know about Soweto.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
There is and I think, Mina, I'm lucky in the sense that I'm sitting at AA2 Heritage Hall, but I left Soweto a while ago, so now I view Soweto with a tourist eye. I think that's how it happens, Uti. In a community, you don't know because can I tell you a story? When Erika Badu came to Soweto, came to Delicious Festival, do you guys know she performed at Inside Out Music Lounge for free?
She was at Inside Out
for free. And Tate Tebe and Mama Aziza went and told people, they were like, guys, come, Erika Badu's performing here for free. And a lot of people just bias Juta. Yes.
Like you see the place that she's talking about, I think I've presented it on the gig guide. So I know Usiza hosts Kabo Medi sessions happening there, and then she has another one coming this Saturday. So when you go there, I don't want to lie, like the place, because you can see that it's small, but inside it's so warm. The warmth, the environment, the people that you actually meet that inside out. I experienced it for the first time, I think 2 months back, when she had a show there, and Safe Energy was also there performing. I enjoyed it, man. It was pretty amazing, man.
No, it is like I love. Even yesterday, whenever I lock up I just quickly walk through, because what they're doing there, I think, is so special, because they're also breaking the stereotypes of Soweto or township stereotypes, because number one, inside out. So if you go there, it looks like a hut, like from the outside. So they've
because of the thatch.
Yeah, so they've used African architecture, and they promote African architecture. So on the outside, it looks like a traditional hut. Then when you go inside, it's like also got the infrastructure of a kraal of some sort. And then like at the top, it's like that's why it's inside out.
Yeah,
you're inside the kraal, but you're still
outside in a certain way. Because I remember when you need to enter Mr. B, like you literally need to bend. So the door was like, I don't know if they did it on purpose.
Yes, because that's
but
African
it's so small. So it's also like and I know that they also have some clothing sometimes that's also on display out there. So man, it's a pretty amazing place.
It is. And then the one thing that people who don't regularly go there won't know is that they also serve food, but they specialize in African ingredients, So sometimes when I'm doing tours, people will call me, media will say, oh, take us to Intlogo or Isbindi and stuff. So I'm purposely saying no, I want to take you to like a place like Inside Out, so you can experience Soweto in all its different light. It's not just nyama yentlogo, chisanyama, whatever, but also there are these hidden gems. Like I don't like coffee, but when I go to Inside Out, I make sure, Mama, please, because I don't know where she sources her Ethiopian coffee. And even Magafutu Mezugudla, she uses the clay pot, you know, like, so they really take things to such a African indigenous organic, you know, they don't promote processed foods. They like healthy food. And even like on the 28th now of September, I'm doing a pilot of the Soweto Art Mile, and we're focusing in Mfulo Central.
It's coming Sunday.
Yes, this coming Sunday. And so she's making moringa smoothies for me. And then she's making also from indigenous flavors, ama ice. But I said, Mama Ziza, you have to put it in the actual plastic yakona. Yakumbula when we were growing up.
Yes, the ice is a 5 bob.
Yeah, I gotta know, man. We have to give everyone the experience, Yama Eyes. Do you get what I'm saying? Wow. And yeah, but everything they do, they try to source from nature. And it's not just them in Soweto. There are quite a few people who still have that thing. And then those are the people who end up being passionate about conserving and cleaning up Soweto. Because if you do that, then you can farm, plant, you know, so many things open up to you. Because why do we buy things that we can grow? You know what I'm saying? And so let's clean up our communities so that we can start to grow instead of all this bad food that we are known to be consumers of. You know what I'm saying? So I like people like that because they teach you the importance of like cleaning up a space like Mfulo, because those are wetlands. And you know, traditionally in urban areas, people preserve wetlands because it's also a tourist site, because then you attract the natural habitat of a wetland. And there's already, I just don't know his name, but Unalintate Mfulo, who does bird tours.
Right here.
Not in Mfulo, sorry, in Soweto. Yeah,
in Soweto.
In Soweto, he does bird tours. So imagine if each community took on the responsibility of wherever there's free roaming water, and the community takes on the commitment of cleaning it, making sure there's no plastic and dirt. Then you hold the people that are draining things that are causing those bad smells accountable, and you preserve those spaces so that birds and natural habitat can come in there. And then you also build the economy in so many ways, from tourism, you know, from just people who want to come to the park, from then people who clean the park and the security in that park. And you know what I'm saying? It's so cleaning up communities actually goes a very long way, you know? So those are the conversations I have at Inside Out, because Umama also told me that she plants trees. She told me in her personal capacity, she used to go to all these NGOs that were having plants, and then she says they've given her about 20 trees, and in her personal capacity, she's just planting them everywhere she can.
Yeah, because I've met her, man. She's pretty amazing. The lady from Inside Out. She's very down to earth, very chill, very polite. You know, it literally feels like, I get what Miss Mom, it literally feels like you're talking to your mom. Like, you don't feel any pressure. She's so relaxed. And I don't want to lie, like, if you're not going there on Saturday or Sunday, then you're definitely missing out. Inside Out is one spot you don't want to miss out on. Especially yesterday, I know that Roko Twala had a concert, Get to Gospel. So on Saturday, you're going to have Makabo Medi happening there with Sizan Kosi. And then come Sunday, we're having the amazing Lerato. Who knows? Maybe we might get on the stage since you never know, hey man. So hey man, it's an amazing thing to look out for. I see that this weekend is pretty jam packed with a lot of things, eh?
Yes, and I also want, you know, with everything that I have achieved and everything that I strive to do, my only struggle and my only shortfall is that, you know, social media and all of those things, they don't really attract a community audience. You know, so like what
is a community audience?
It's like the people of Soweto. I kind of feel like a lot of ntotsetsa di tourists, the attraction, and diabafita, and I kind of feel like they should be the first audience. They should be
First dibs.
Yeah. And so like I'm trying to figure out how do I connect Liba to my neighborhood, and because now I'm sitting here telling you I'm doing this walk, but I've been promoting it for so long. And I know the people that are going to come are from outside Soweto, but it's actually an experience that I'm customizing for Soweto. Because una libana who've never seen the scouts, wabona, and in I grew up kibona di scouts.
Hey, scout.
Dogs would get lost.
Hey, it's not only dogs, even us, because you literally follow the dum. You're like, Mama, get God. By the time you notice, you don't even know where you are. You were just following the scouts. You're like, yo, how do I get back home now?
Yes. So those are the kind of things that I would really like to, culture that I'd really like to introduce back into the community. And arts and culture is very beautiful, guys, and it's much needed. And it's so crazy.
It was that subject in school where when we did arts and culture, it was like it's your draw and whatnot. And right now I see the significance of preserving one's culture through various ways, either through storytelling, through art itself, through music, through dress code, through buildings like the AA2. There's quite a lot where culture can be preserved. But in the interest of time, I want us to talk about this coming Sunday, right?
Yes.
Let's just give more details as to what time it's happening, the whole purpose for it, and what can people look forward to.
Okay, so this Sunday, there was a call by Josie My Josie. They were looking to introduce new walks and diversify the tourism landscape. And so the core function is a walk. So then I said, okay, let me focus on Mfulo as part of my walk focus. And so on the 28th, we're going to be doing a walk that covers the artistic landscape of Mfulo, and it also comes with a few gems that you can only unpack and discover on the actual walk itself. But the tickets are selling on Quicket. I only have the capacity of 30. I think so far I have sold 16 tickets, and they only 67 rand, but it's like a full thing. You're going to experience the walk. I'll just give a hint. I've already mentioned I'm a scout, and then also one of the babies that the Soweto Art Mile is looking to nurture is Mfulo Art Center. So I'm piloting having a market there, inviting all the artists that have studios there to please come and, just give them the space for people to see what Mfulo Art Center is doing. Because I think a lot of people only know Mfulo Art Center for when it's time to vote, Jabon. But that space is so alive. It has a library. There are artists that are residents there. It has a community hall for people to come and book. And, Soweto Gospel Choir rehearses there when they're in South Africa. Do you get what I'm saying? That Kenneth, he has his studio there, so I really just want to highlight and emphasize that, Mfulo Art Center isn't what it was back in the day, but it's still putting its leg forward. And us as a community, let's see where we catch the space and make sure that it still has the capacity to nurture artistry as it has in its legacy and history, So, yeah. So please come and join us and just see what tourism can really do to a community. Instead of uhlale the whole day lapayana, you creative, like call people to come and go eat with you at your favorite eateries and call that a tour. Everybody has a story. That is what tourism is.
Yeah, no, true, because we recently did the
Soweto Backpackers.
Soweto by bike.
Yes.
And we got to go to Mzimhlope, the hostel, and I felt like a tourist myself.
Yes.
And this then brewed this love of wanting to learn more. And what you mentioned earlier about the pride of your own neighborhood is that once you start understanding what's going on in the economy, the preservation of our heritage, if you're looking at, keeping a space clean, you will think twice before throwing that piece of paper down.
Exactly.
Like you'll have this sense of pride, which this is my own, and I take care of my own. And this is what we need to start doing, because, yes, everyone's talking about Vilagazi and that side, but it also sparked the thing of, hey, let me take a look at my own neighborhood, just this block.
Mm-hmm.
What history is here? How can this history be preserved and given to the next generation? And there was a gentleman, I'm not sure if he's still alive, but he was giving a history of Mrs. Hashe, because we live on Hashe Street.
Yes.
So Mrs. Hashe, she was one of the individuals that was pioneering the whole city lights, street lights in the township, because he said that Dobsonville was one of the first townships to have roads and street lights. So how they managed to get the funding is that herself and a couple of other delegates went to Germany to go and source the funding. And as a result, Dobsonville then had your streets and these city street lights. Yeah. So that's history. I was like, wow, I didn't know this. But this was something that was just passed on verbally, which is okay. But I think we can do a better job in documenting our history and preserving it, and also leaving that legacy moving forward.
Of course. Yeah. Look at what you have here. Like, who's stopping you from having a history hour and you invite every single person in Soweto here?
It's stamped.
Yeah, and then get them to say, why is this? Like, for example, Mfulo. Mfulo is named after Thomas Mfulo. He was a writer. And Mfulo is the hub of creativity as a legacy of the person it is named after. Do you get what I'm saying? And there's so many people that would be so willing to come and narrate their history, because inside A2 Heritage Hall, our exhibition, what we did was, because, the story of the struggle, the narrative, I'm not taking anything away from the story and what Soweto contributed to the liberation of South Africa. June 16, for me, it shouldn't be called Youth Day. It should remain June 16. You know what I'm saying? And so...
Interesting.
Okay. And so, like, with A2 Heritage Hall, our exhibition is newspaper articles that are dated and archived, so that nobody can challenge the history that says that in the heart of apartheid, we had a cinema in Soweto, and the children used to come and watch movies. They used to dance to Michael Jackson in there. They used to eat popcorn, and they used to have Nama rides. The original Randy Ster show used to be in that parking lot during holidays. You see?
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
That is what I was told by someone who grew up during Kiddies Club. So
I see that.
Do you know the first movie that was played at the theater?
I have no idea.
Okay, that's homework for you.
Yes.
But then if people want to get a hold of you, your socials, where they can contact you, your numbers, also for this mile that's taking place on Sunday.
Okay, so for the Josie Walks, you can go on to Quicket and search Soweto Art Mile, and then you can also follow us on AA2 Heritage Hall. That's Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And our website is AA2 Heritage, or you can just pop me a WhatsApp on 076 5466 599. And remember, I'm married, so ningang shale.
Hey guys, I hope you remember that she is married Ningam Shelly. So it seems like Sunday is gonna be such an amazing day, which is basically going to capture the amazing rich history that Umfolo has, and obviously going to experience a bit of music, a bit of inside, maybe some poetry at Inside Out. You never know. Hey, maybe if you go inside, you might just never want to come out. So, but we hope that you guys are gonna be looking forward to that one on Sunday. I also saw in the post, I saw somebody that I know who's also into theater. Well, his partner is into theater and he does poetry. So I also can't wait to catch up with those guys on Sunday, man. So right now we're going to take a little quick break, come back. And then after that, we're heading into a beautiful conversation with another amazing guest.
What's coming up after this?
So the person that's coming up after this is, sorry? Malisa is Malisa Lekwapi. That's the person that we're having right now. We're not having Malisa Lekwapi. We're having Malisa Lekwapi. You know, put respect on that one. So right now, we will see you guys when we come back. I hope you guys are going to stay tuned, man. Don't move, don't you guys? We're coming back right now.
How? Chomi, you still cooking with cha, salt, and prayers. Yo. But don't stress, ungawari, because your time to shine in the kitchen is here. Amapele Pele Spices for Africa and the Vooka Breakfast Show have said, let's bless you with some spices that will slap harder than Umama's 7 colors. Vooka Flavor Fridays is here. We're serving flavor, vibes, and vibes with flavor. Flavor Fridays is the only plug you need to turn your kitchen into a 5-star chill spot. For 8 weeks, you stand a chance to win spice hampers that take your meals from meh to just by subscribing and tuning into your daily dose of positivity for an energetic start to the day. So Haibo, what are you waiting for? Don't miss out. Flavor is calling. Waza.
Escape the ordinary and discover the extraordinary with Swellapil Tours. Whether you're a group of friends or a family looking for a memorable getaway, Swellapil Tours has you covered. Our all-inclusive tours take you to South Africa's most stunning destinations, from the scenic beauty of Mpumalanga to the vibrant life of Gauteng and the coastal charm of Durban.
Welcome back, man. I hope that was super insightful. We got so taken away by the history as Mfulo to such a point that we didn't even finish today in history. We didn't even finish today in history because we were so taken away by the rich history that Soweto has to offer, man. In all honesty, I feel like it's now about time that when tourists actually come to Soweto, they actually get on ground in different areas in Soweto, because each and every single place has its own history. Each and every single place in Soweto has its own story to tell, a movement that it has, a certain thing that people need to know about it, man. But right now we're going to be moving into our second interview, and our second interview is with a beautiful, gorgeous Umam Malesa Lekwape. Hello, ma, okay, mami.
Mama.
Ke teng a kopa tumele ganyane mo maikong gore batho ba kgone go utlwa, mama. O siame, ma?
Ke siame tota.
Ke a itebogela ga ile gore wena o siame, mami. So right now, let me just read you the quick bio of Mama Malesa Lekwape. So Mama Malesa Lekwape, Mama Malesa Lekwape deals in spiritual upliftment, which includes Christian counseling, culture awareness, life skills, leadership skills, marriage and relationship counseling. It also has to deal with customer care, peace and conflict resolution, spiritual foundation, law, human rights, Mama didinga law, human rights, budget and church leaders, fortune tellers who provide, who are also provided when you actually come to them for counseling. These are like, I see that you deal with like a whole lot of different things.
It's a package.
I see, it's a package deal. You when a person comes to you, they can't say that, no, I didn't find what I was looking for.
Exactly.
It's a lie. If you want to learn how to budget, mom is there. You have a relationship or marriage counseling that you want to take, she is also there. You want to resolve conflicts within the family, she is also there. So basically anything you need, she is there for you, man. There's nothing and there's no reason for you to even say that you did not find the help that you were seeking.
Exactly.
So, besides the amazing bio that I just read for our viewers at home, is there something else that you can tell me that you also do and provide with the organization that you work for?
All right. Let me greet everyone. Dumelang kaofela thokozane sanibonane. Mme Malekwape is a traditional spiritual healer. Right? Malesa is my surname. Ya ko gae mo ke tswalwang. Lekwape is mo ke nyetsweng ko teng. So popularly known as Mme Malekwape. All right. The process it's a gift. I would say it's a gift, it's a calling. So I've been in this for plus 30 years. And, you know, I've learned and I've grown within the years. And I've had my downfalls and my up, you know. Because but then the positive thing is we get positive news ko bathong gore re a ba thusa and batola thuso. And for the past 15 years and ke bereka ka bana ba moya, you know, initiating of reproducing, you know, mediums, traditional spiritual healers ba ileng gore I'm proud to say today bona ba tswa mo matsogong a rona.
Very
proud. Yes, very, very proud.
That is amazing, Ma. Can you also, would you mind telling us, Uti, what does spiritual upliftment actually mean to you, and what role does it play in your daily life?
All right. Spiritual upliftment is basically knowing yourself. Knowing your roots, because you cannot say, take for instance the line of work that we do, you cannot say we lo phagamisa moya or we lo twasa, but without knowing your history, without knowing gore o mang. I understand. So before you can even say you uplift others, you need to know your roots. You need to know gore o mang o tswa kae o ya kae, so that ko pele go ske go ba le di stagnation, go ske go ba le di blockages.
Oh man, that is very insightful.
Mhm.
So Ma, how do you also describe the mission and the mission or the purpose in the work that you do?
My mission is to heal. Okay, our mission is to heal, is to see batho ba le ba lemetseng. You know, go na le batho ba e leng gore ba spiritually gifted, but they're going through a lot. Right? It can be family related issues, it can be finances, but at the same time, we heal those people. We start by counseling, we start by learning matata a batho bao. Knowing gore motho o phagamisa moya, not only go phagamisa moya, but matata a tswang ko ona. And then we give that person counseling, I ithole pele before re ka re re a mo uplifta.
Okay, Ma.
So it's not only about go twasa, or it's not only about go uplift the gift that you have, but the root of the issue is identifying yourself.
Hey guys, and I hope you understood that one. Before you can even say we now wa go twasa wa go lefetlong or ba re ba tsamaya tshwantse kene go worship a parish so you can become a pastor. The most important thing is knowing who you are from deep within. Forget the exterior. It's all about knowing the interior first, and then comes in the exterior. So Ma, we're going to talk about Christian counseling and more about the spiritual upliftment, right?
Yes.
So I want to know, how do you integrate Christian principles into your counseling approach?
All right. Remember, as individuals, we are being ruled or get what we learned from the Bible. Right? Just an example, Hari Yako Bibling, Moses was given rules, it's the 10 Commandments. Right? They didn't only work kwako Bibling, but we also living on that as batho. Go na le the part ela ya gore o ske wa utswa, o ske wa bolaya, o ske wa etseletsa o mong ka bobi, hlompha mme wa hao le ntate wa hao. That part, that part ke part of Christianity that we, whether we like it or not, it's also part of us as batho. It's also part of Ubuntu. So now, as rates are counseling, you look at an individual, the behavior ya motho, gore matata a fitileng ko ona a jwang, and then in line with that, arrange the counseling based on milao ele re tholang from Christianity, which we can say from the Bible. So it's not only about me being a healer and say and set up my own rules. The rules it's part of what we learned from Christianity, or should I say from the Bible.
I like how you infuse spirituality and Christianity. It's a very interesting mix, Ma. So also in your experience, what are some of the biggest spiritual challenges that you see people are facing in this current country or in this current era that we're living in?
Spiritual difficulties, I would say the first thing is trust. We as people have not trust, right? You go to a healer because you want to be healed, but you tend not to trust the process. You tend not to trust that person. And now, how will you heal? Again, and then another thing is knowing ourselves. You know, the inner person. O batla healing, but when yourself you haven't healed from the scars tse o tswang ko tsona back. Why understand? And the generational problems tse re tswang ko tsona, you know, some problems ha di qale ka rona, di qala kwa ko morago from generational. But then if now I want to fix my part of not being employed, o kry-le gore the curse was put kwa ko morago, we need to go and fix the curse e tswang kwa ko morago pele.
Yeah, ne.
So it goes a long way. Part of healing goes a long way, and part of finding yourself, Leona, it's a long way.
But sometimes gore khono itse go yang go teng go pele tshwantse simule ka dikgang tsa go morago.
Exactly.
Ke tsone tse leng gore tla go bontsha gore go ya go pele ke dikgato tse feng tse leng gore tla di tseya mo botshelong ba go. So Ma, what role does prayer and spiritual scripture play in emotional or psychological healing?
Bona, as re le batho, we pray. Right? We were taught to pray. But the other issue is we pray only when we are remo mathateng. Ha re le mo mathateng ke gona mo re rapelang re tibileng ra kooparetsang 1 2 3. But prayer is meant to heal the inner person. Prayer is meant to meditate. Gona le the part where you get anxiety over something, but once you pray, you get that healing. O relaxa, I relaxa kelello, I relaxa le pelo le kelello, and you are also able to think outside the box because o rapetse. And e khona le go theosa mathata man. Prayer can heal. Prayer can heal. And ha re ya ko tabeng ya kelello ya motho, as re le batho re na le mathata a re wa nahanang, so many, to a point ya gore you'd actually go to a psychologist, a psychiatrist to go and look for help, but le ena, even that person o tla tla o fa advice a re bona rapela. Rapela. Yes, beya lengwele mo fatshe. But now the problem ke gore, you know, there's different types of prayers. Right? Hona le thapelo ele e ke rapela because I was told to pray. And then hona le thapelo ele ya hore I want to pray for this. And that second prayer, ele ya gore o batla o rapella this, it's more important because you even connect with the Creator. You even connect with your ancestors via prayer.
Thapelo is one of the biggest things that you could ever say. And I think it's okay. There's even been a way apostolo ko ra ke tse bibina ke group of ba re o mamele thapelo. Ai mama wa tla wa betsa mo lengakeng ma. Ya nong ga re bua ka tsa manyalo le di relationship ma. So what are the common struggles that most people see, that you normally see in relationships or marriages, and how do you help couples navigate the certain issues that they actually face so they can have a better outcome and maybe a peaceful and harmonious marriage?
All right. Ha re ya ko di relationshiping. The relationship is mathata a ke nna ke nang le kopana le ona when we get to the relationship counseling mathata. Iba the part ya gore people go into marriage without knowing their backgrounds and with high expectations. Right? And now, after the high expectations, I was expecting my partner to be this type of a person, but only to find that get this type, and maybe the type that I didn't even expect. Why understand? And now, trust ya robega. Trust ya robega and le mahlo jwanong se ke thoma ba le mabatha, especially batho ba bontate, askising batho ba bontate, but go thoma go ba le the party ya gore jwanong Maria ha ke sa mmona hantle, o ka re lerato ke ena o ka reng o petere, but because you were expecting something from Maria, same applies le ko bathong ba bomme. Let us not have high expectations. Create a relationship based on love, not on things that we expect to happen. Di asset bona re a shwa ga di sia. These are smaller things that re tlo di berekela ga shwa ga di sia, but lerato, care, those are the most important thing. And let us not base our relationships on monetary things, because the party at the monetary, once the partner a sa hlolo a bereka, go ba le mathata ale a gore ha ile rato le a fela. So finances, Leona, budgeting, and the major thing man ke communication more relationship. And so what I always advise the partners or batho ba batlang ba in a marriage they're having conflicts ke gore communicate tang. A gona ntho e nngwe e tlo fetang without communication, and always be on prayer. But mo di relationshiping ha o wa lebella most go rapela batho ba bomme. Batho ba bontate,
Yeah.
it's very few. Batho ba bontate, it's very few. Batho ba bomme ke rona re reng re ba di mpokoto re di tshwara ko bogaleng. Why
anyway,
understand?
yeah, le matla.
Yes, yeah. But ke na le lentswe le reng ba re mosadi ke ntho o tshwara thipa ko bogaleng. But thipa ele le yona etsang ya o sega o itshwere ko bogaleng. Ya o sega. But you need an assistant, which is your partner, to help you gore a tshware thipa ele.
Mo gone maopile kgomo le naka man ba re basadi ba tshwara thipa go bogale mare ba nang le bala gore le one thipa ile ya le matsa. So mane ke re ke tlo go botsa gore how can spiritual practices help strengthen a relationship or marriage so that it can strive?
Ntho ya pele when it comes to that ke prayer, mama. Prayer and trusting each other. Prayer and trusting each other. You cannot fight evil spirits within a relationship without prayer. O ka hlapisiwa wa nka diwasho wa etsang, but prayer always comes first. And the part of communication, if it comes to a push, call out family meetings, libue, let's zame go resolve the issues, but at the same time, bare lapa li buildwa ke eng ke community. Again, so you have neighbors, you have people that you are close to, you have church elders that you can speak to. Ba ileng gore wa tseba gore ha ke na le bothata ke lela ko bona. But ntwe nngwe e kgolo, it's go khunama ka mangwele o rapela. Prayer.
You know, prayer is one of the biggest things that you could ever do in your life.
Exactly.
Whether you're a Christian or you believe in African spirituality, praying is one of the biggest things that can ever light up your world before anything else.
Exactly.
Hey, ma,
Even bale bareng we don't pray. Connecting with your ancestors, it's also part of prayer, but in a different angle. So go phahla, go ya ko nageng, ko thabeng, you releasing something from the inside, but we release it to someone o ileng gore o tsamaile.
So Mark can also ask, how should couples handle conflicts when we talk about handling conflict in a God-centered way? How can couples sit down and use the amazing scriptures that the Bible has to find a resolution or find a way or a certain type of light they need to basically resolve any problems that they feel that they have within their relationship?
All right. Haria ko mangwalong a Bible. We go to Psalms. All the letters tsa ko Psalms. Dia aga, dia builder, dia consoler, dia comforter. Right? Now, there are times where you find yourself in a very deep hole in a relationship or in a marriage. But one mistake that people do is but trust the outside people more than they should trust themselves. Why understand? But then if the couple would actually go and open one verse yako Bible and Bible bali tu ba etse a daily thing and ba rapele gape and ba communicate, then we wouldn't have dintho tse tshwanang le bo divorce, we wouldn't have dintho tse tshwanang le bo manyalo batho ba ya bolayana within manyalo. And trust gape, trust. Ntongwa hape e bolayang manyalo le di relationship ke social media batho. Social media can kill, social media can build. Why understand? But then at the same time, batho ha ba ithola ba le mo mathateng, instead of motho a rapele a zame go resolve or to remedy the situation, they run to social media, they run to the outside world. And that's where the problem comes.
Gata mathata simolla ga ile gore bone ga ba shebi mo ba ntse mo teng mo boteng ba bone gore bothata bo simolla kae go tsenya batho ba bantsi mo lenyalong ga se ntwe siameng batho ba modimo.
And then another thing is apologize batho. Wait go thata go apologize, and at times o kry le gore you know very well you didn't do anything wrong. But for the sake of peace, I apologize and then go thule gore do.
Being the bigger person.
Yes. But then instead of apologizing, itlo ba di wa ra rasa ra argue ra renka di plate re ngatana ka tsona and all that. And what is it? Resolve in. And the sad part of it, if gona le bana. If gona le bana le bona baba involved in that, they get trauma over that, but at the same time rona batswadi nkebe re fihlile this thing ra rapela ka yona, ra discuss amongst ourselves.
Hey, yeah, mo hey, yo. Sentle ke kopa metsi tu because wa bona mo edisolo sa sibima man and lo tso buang ka tsone ke lo tse leng gore batho ba bantsi ba eta ba di bona and they've been going through the struggles for the longest times, and I think this topic has been long awaited, man. So what advice can you give someone who's struggling with forgiveness in a relationship? Because re itse gore as much as bare mosadi tshwara thipa go bogaleng motho ga ka se gone go dula ntse tshwarela motho go ya go ile go na le nako mo ileng gore tshwarelo le gore ke tle ke ikokobeditse go wena ke re ke kopa maitshwarelo ka setlhole e dira, so ga ile gore go yalo motho a ka dirang gore tsotlhe di apetshia mo teng go ntlo?
Bona, forgiveness is a word that you can easily write on paper and say I forgive, right? But forgetting is something else. These are two different things. Now, if you do not forget, it's not easy to forgive. It's totally not easy to forgive. I would open my mouth and say, I forgive you. But next week, I remember everything that you did to me. And now healing will not happen. Why understand? But then at the same time, I would say, deal with the matter at hand. Deal with the matter at hand. Ba storang information like the computer. Ba store information next week go etsagala something wanka wa store, the other week go etsagala something wanka wa store. By the time I explode, it's like a balloon. Why understand? But then instead of doing that, rather discuss dinto kanako eo. And then when it comes to forgiveness, like I said before, forgiveness is something that happens within. If I forgive myself, it's easy to forgive someone else. Why understand? But if I say I forgave you, but that is not forgiveness. That is totally something else. But then remember going back to the part earlier, go Genesis on the Bible. They are saying tshwarelo iteng. Tshwarelo iteng. Ibile there's also a song erin tshwarelo ya dibitsaka. Morena re hauhele. Why understand? And now if you sing such a song in a very low, we hame. Bona, you will heal from within. You will heal. And another thing hape eka tusang, it's getting someone from the outside who will also be a mediator to come and help resolve the issues. Someone that you don't know. Iskaba motho ole o eleng gore wa motseba go sane o tlo use the same information against you. We understand? But healing starts from kamogare. Starts from yourself. If you saw gore wena wentse a mistake, apologize. And then healing can happen. But if you don't apologize, pride, Leona, will not work.
Hey. Mansatsa ma we pizza sifuba mo dilong tse leng gore di kgone solve easy.
Exactly.
Some things just need two people to sit down, connect, and just talk. I di batle gore pride it's ne sa lu pizza sifuba ka ntwe necessary. Guys, man, I hope you guys are listening to this because we are getting revelations here in the studio. We definitely are. So my one thing that you also do or deal with, it's cultural awareness and community building, right?
Yes.
So I want to know, how does cultural understanding enhance spiritual and relational growth?
All right. Remember, as Relebatu, we believe we have ancestors. Okay? I'm not going to talk about different beliefs because believe different, but badimu bateng badimu they are there they are in the bloodline. Right? Now, cultural is knowing meetlo right? But then there is that part ya gore maybe ngwana wa kula ka montlo, and then Ramon ka re mo isa ko Western. And only to find that bolwetsi bo ngwana o a bukulang ha se bolwetsi ba western but ke bolwetsi bo ba semoya and bo batla moyetlo wa ka mo gae gore ngwana a ilo phatlhelwa or ngwana a etsetswe something e leng gore ke ya culture ke ya moyetlo. Why understand? But then at times re tsamaya re lahleya as batho because of different beliefs and whatever thing, but at the end of the day we need to find our roots. We need to find our roots so that we can the culture. And now, how do we blend in this spirituality? Right. Going back to the Bible, the very same people, bo Abraham, bo Moshe, bo David, bo Mang, these are ancestors, though not in the bloodline directly. Right? But we learned from them certain things that were happening back in the Bible. They are happening even now. They are happening even now. Why understand? Now that's where the Christianity part or the spiritual part comes in. And now you go back to the part there are churches. Again, different churches, but these churches, they are meant to build both cultural and spiritual. Iske yaba a division. Yeah, beliefs. If I believe in God, I cannot because my ancestors, I cannot drain their blood out of me. Why understand? So knowing our roots, it's very important. Whenever we blend in limudimu kwa rona kaofela, ramorapela kaofela. Why understand? Look at someone or ame sangoma, ame healer. Liena before I lo alafa batho a tsholla marapo or ditaula mo fatshe o rapetse modimo o kopile matla kae go modimo. So this is where the blend between the spiritual and the culture or the traditional is blending thing.
So, what challenges do you see mo setjhabeng se leng gore se kopane ka the cultural background when it comes to the misunderstandings? Because like it's right or no yan pele nele zone ba mang ke ba Tswana ile ke maZulu no yana se re nna ka re kopane se re dula kaofela mo motseng. So go tlitse gore mo motseng o re go dula mo gone gona no ke eng e leng gore bona gore batho santsane ba gogana ka yone ga go fitlha mo
okay. The boundaries tsa Basotho, Batswana, Zulu, I think we've done away with them. That there's now a blend, right? But rona hape as individual. Re when it comes to beliefs, right? Re when it comes to belief. You find a street in Ali. The next house ki postola ntlu engwe ya bitere ki ngaka ele ki spiritual healer but harutlwane and yet our misebetsi ya rona ha itshwane. Why can't we be like the shop? Uthola shop ele e kwale li ele e rekisa ntho e one e tshwana, but people have choices of where they want to go. Why understand? So if ne reka utlwana ra sebedisana ra bantu A1, then this division never ibeteng. Never ibeteng. Ra utlwana ra tsebana and ya ske ya bataba ya khuba judgmental gore hai ole o believe amonthong eso I demonic ele haya loka nna ke believe mo this and that. No. A re beng to A1. That's the word ele e tlhagelang ere ubuntu.
Botho
yes
ba re tshetse re ithuta re go mongwe le mongwe tshwantse ithuta go ba le botho kaofela re tle re tshwarane re be ngata ile nngwe man so ma uncle mthusa gape mona kwa tletse gore dikereke le di spiritual leaders, how can they work together to promote cultural sensitivity and unity?
In khutlisetsa back to what I just mentioned now. Tshebedisano and communication, right? Tshebedisano le communication will take us somewhere because as much as renally different types of churches and different types of beliefs, Mudimu we won. Mudimu we won. The spirit service rapelang which is Mudimu see one. So why can't we put the differences co-citing and then re khona go kopana re ben to A1? Because at the end of the day, our mission is to heal. Our mission is to put division aside. Our mission is to integrate between the two, so healing and psychological help. Why understand and to you? So this part of division, it end up by iba matata. It end up by iba matata because at the end of the day, if we don't combine Raban to A1, a nation is separated. But separate fela ke ntho tse leng gore we could have just sat down rabua ka tsona.
Hey man, communication is very important, man.
Yes.
So learn to communicate. Go buisana. And ara setse bua nnete ka mama le ne setsa buile gore re rapela modimo o i1. Ara setse re bua nnete.
Yes.
Gore re mitsa Allah or we call him God, it's still one person because it's that one person that we pray for that's actually up in the heavens. So ma, let's also go into life skills and personal growth. What are some essential life skills you believe every person should develop in life?
Okay, when we go to the part here, life skills, first thing first, communication again, right? Communication, setting your life goals. You cannot be ube moto and then usatsiburu oyakokai. You might have missed certain stages, knowing where you're coming from, but you need to know hore oyakokai. And then, like I said, hore setting goals. And then another part is understanding. Iba is someone only understanding of certain things in life. Right? And then iba motho o eleng gore o ba motivated. Honali certain people that you watch around social media or even anywhere, and then o tholele gore motho o wa go motivate. You want to be like this person. You feel so much motivated by that person. Even if o tseba gore you will never reach the stage say alenko sona, but at least that person works as a motivator. I understand. But then another life skill thing is, education, Baton. Education. I work in Montonia spirituality. Honale batho ba le ba ileng gore o kry-ile gore reading and writing ha ba itsebi. But education is not only about reading and writing, but it's knowing certain things. Tse leng gore ke tsa molao, tse ding ke tse leng gore di uplifta wena as an individual. Why understand? You'd get an older person ha kena skolo, ha tsebe go ngwala even le lebitso la hae, but ntho e tlo intshang ka mo molomong afa counseling or a motivate someone, you can learn from that. So let us also remove the stagnation. Certain things because the blockages more living because reading ka re di beya ko kelelong. Reading ka re di beya ko kelelong ya rona. So I still go back to the part ya gore let us communicate. Having a broader communication and knowing oneself, I khona go uplift the skills samo to the personal.
Hey, TC, meaning sonto girl. Like Mamon gets us speechless with each and every single word. She is just spitting guidance and revelation. My worries are so So how does spiritual guidance contribute to personal development and decision making when it comes to oneself?
All right. Right now, how ka lebella mo lefatsheng ne gona le bana kampo e re kere bana ba ileng gore ha bana direction. Batswadi ba zamile whatever e ba izamile ba mo kenya skolo, but hana way forward, hana the goals. It's because of utlhokile some spiritual guidance. The part where you start telling a child who are 5 years gore pray, or when you pray and say come let us pray utlo gola ka yona. Right? But the part ela ya gore ka montlong hai o kare the spirituality haiyo, we don't pray. Praying is not only going to church, but it starts from ka montlong. Why understand? So building some form of spiritual guidance ka montlong e re gola ka yona. Why understand? Now, hona le the part e le bareng thuto ya ko bogolong ya roba. Why I can see where I understand. Some kids start learning certain things because by ithuta tsona from the outside, but they didn't get the root of learning those things ba sentsane ba le banyane. Why understand? And now that's where bathoma balahleya. That's where bathoma balahleya, because we want to fix ntoya ya esenyegileng 20 years back ka 1 second. And now, because I never had guidance from the beginning. So it needs to start from the families, even the current youth. Start now. Start now, so that later on it doesn't come back and bite you as a parent. Because the very same thing that is happening to the kids, they blame you as a parent. They blame you as a parent, and now you didn't guide these kids, and now that's where disciplinary it's a maile somewhere. But then disciplinary itomile kai back to Genesis. Remember, Genesis ki the root, ki the foundation. Why understand? Now let us carry the Genesis in ourselves. Let us carry the Genesis morona, especially mothers. Let us be bo Genesis, bo mema Genesis. Rebuild a foundation. Ito build the coming nation.
Be the Genesis that builds a foundation that will build much more great leaders.
Exactly.
Oh man.
Risk ramatela obadi relevations. Because go relevation kibo fellow. This is the end. But then the end at times it end up by the very bad ending.
Gati simolla ka ba Genesis before latela ka Revelations gore khono bona gore go aga bokamoso bo bontseng jang. Hey ma, you know what, let's head over to our YouTube channel for the Facebook for the comments. So we have Fiki Amo are my spiritual mother. So I give it for me more. And then we also have Mkojo. There's always something to learn from mama. And then we also have another comment from our very own Hector Takalani. It starts with I know better than others, mama.
Yes.
And then we also have
some of my spiritual kids.
Yes. And then we also have another comment from Komuto are my mother.
Yes.
And then Hector wa and being open-minded, then you will learn.
Yes.
Don't be a closed book. Learn to be open-minded so you can allow more learning journeys to actually come through.
Yes.
But you can't teach anything to somebody who already has a cup full.
And then there is this thing you look at a book, right? And then you look at the heading, the book, and already you say, "Hi man, this book is not interesting." But once you open that book and you start reading it, you see, man, I almost missed important things. Get the way life feeling kate. Get the way life feeling kate.
Hey ma, so ma, what advice can you give motho long gore bona ka re botshelo ba gage ga boe gope o ye me fele bilana ga sa bona ga itse gore ya ko pele or ya ko morago ke feng ma ele le gore ka moneletsa ona gore at least a khone ipona gore o ya kae a khone buela ke tshepo mo botshelong ba ge.
Bona ntho pele ke perseverance. A gona ntho e tlang simple mo lifeng. We all go through ups and downs as individuals. But then another thing is letting go of the past. Sometimes because we're holding on that class e fail. We class the beauty of that class. Why understand? But we hold on to that class, and then once it crack, I'm looking at someone blame but I didn't do anything to fix that class. I didn't do anything to fix myself.
Shifting the blame.
We're shifting the blame. Exactly. But then at the same time, the part ele ya gore we don't forgive easily. We don't forgive easily. Still, it back to the party. We're holding on to grudges. We're holding on to the hatred. We're holding on to the pain. Each time I look at you, I'm like, oh, I can't. 1, 2, 3. And now I level this thing happened 10 years ago. But how am I going to heal? Yes.
Hey. Yeah. Hey ma. Man kopa metsi tu. Ka ro bona ele mo gone mo. Yeah man.
Ere ko Bibleng. Ere kilo aga Jerusalem o mocha. Gore ibe motse o mocha. But you cannot go to Jerusalem o le fail. But fail, it's not about the clothes, but it's in the inside. Now hlobola motho ole wa gale o ilo apara motho o mocha, but motho o mocha o tswa kae o tlisa ke wena. By being positive, by being motivated, by setting up goals for yourself. Ha ona motho o tlotlang a tlo setela di goals. Hayo. But when utlo settle and gold, utlo motivate. Someone would come out motivated, but why analyze a motivation of man? But why didn't you do that from the start?
Get back. Hey, ma. Now let's talk about peace and conflict resolution. In today's divided world, we see that it's not easy to actually reach a peaceful truths and make peace with what we have and actually try to find a resolution to the problem. So what are some of the spiritual approaches that you use to create peace within a conflict situation that people sometimes come to you with? Okay,
my advice in most cases is have a good listening skills, right? Because you come to me with a problem and high, on a very high note, rasa. Instead of listening, I react over the noise that you do. But if kinekibile letsebe ka mamela, kaske ka jaja, kaske ka yetella the tone ya hao ko pele, then peace nkebe ile teng. Why understand? There's an example that I normally give. Kere, there was a couple, right? There was a couple. The female was already in jail. But then the person as a patient came to me, hey, me wetsi ke nahana gore lenyalo la ka le a fela. Ke nahana gore le mama zale 100 ka mo ntlong nje ha 100. All right, I saw how she spoke, right? I read the character, I read the behavior. But then I gave a strategic remedy. Ke mo file metsi. Just plain water. Ka wa rapella. Ka mo fa wona. Ka re bona wa tseba metsi a hawano. Ha batle lerata. Ha batle lerata. A batla o wanke o wa kenye ka mo molomong. Anka metsi ale a tsamaya ko gae. Each time o ka re gona lerata, o nwa metsi ale wa beya ka mo molomong. And now it thusa ka eng 12. The minute a thoma a re wa araba, metsi e ka mo molomong ha gone bua.
Ka re wa itse gore ga utlwane le lerata.
Yes. Why understand? So certain things is all about strategy. Certain things is all about us. Gore we strategize the conflict jwang. Ha motho a le kodimo wena ya ko tlase. Ha motho a bakile lerata o sa tsebo re sesosa sa taba ke eng, dula mo fatshe and discuss that. So I've always used strategies. It's not everything elong gore etla go leader ko Bibleng or etla go reader ko spiritually wa re tsamang lo phatla tsamang lo etsa. They've done that, they failed, but strategy ke sona se tlo thusang. Strategy. There's also a person o elong gore o re ko mosebetsing ke tlo lose mosebetsi. Ba yang ko ba ko mosebetsing because ha o re wa lebella kelello e raiman this person ba mo kopa because she's forever late. Right? Then I came with a strategy again. Ka mo fa something sa close kenyang ka mo molomo. Kar wena o tshwantse o tsoge go se le kena na ko mang ko mosebetsing a re ka 7 o'clock kar bon wena fitla ka 6:30. How fit like a 6:30, o tla founa ntho e we spite mo monyako. And that thing is just a normal tree ya perekisi. E ke hleputseng ka mo fa yona. Why understand? And then this person, wa bona okay, since for the whole week ke ntse ke tsoga go seng ke berekisa ntho ele, ya mperekela ko mosebetsing a go sana le gata. There is now peace. Why understand? So certain strategies, we should use them as the life skill gape mo maphelong a rona so that re kgone go tswela ko pele. Otherwise, I never go be peace. I never go be peace. And apologizing, apologizing. And making peace of whatever the situation ailing thing.
But wait to talk about my
yes.
So I also wanted to ask again, when it comes to peace and conflict resolution, how do you help people resolve conflicts without compromising their values? Because one thing that we always know is that some people, whenever there's conflict, they stand very steadfast on their values and are not willing to compromise. So when it comes to that one, how do you help people balance the two to solve the conflict that they're currently having?
Okay. There are certain tasks that I assign to these people, right? And now certain task is going back kontlong ba ilo ngola all the problems they banan le tsona. They identify separately. They can use separate rooms. Bangwale mo fatshe. Gore nna mathata a ka ke 1, 2, 3, and then they come back. I read those problems, and now I will sit individually with them, not together, because the minute kilo dula le bona together, an uproar will come up. But individually, I will kilo bala mathata a ole ku ole, ke bale mathata a omong ole ku ole, and then say, okay, wena bothata ba hao ba re wetsa 1, 2, 3. Wena bothata ba hao ba re wetsa 1, 2, 3. What is it that you can say? And then I give advice based on the problems tse ba di ngotseng mo fatshe, and it helps that. And another thing is having prayer sessions le bona. Having prayer sessions le bona. Like I said before, gore hangata batho ba bomme ke rona re lwanelang peace, ke rona re lwanelang forgiveness, ke rona re lwanelang go maintain the relationships or even marriages. But batho ba bontate, they are quick to say, "Ai, o lahlela towel ka speed." Giafana. And then to the next problem. You cannot remove problem ka problem engwe. You can't. No. Because maybe o tlogela problem e betere, we lo lata problem e worse than that one. And then o tlo solve jwang ge. Because now o sona le double problems. So prayer again, prayer. Bona. You heal from that.
Thapelo ya go fodisa dikgopi kaofela tse leng gore motho na le tsona mo lefatsheng.
Yes.
Gato go ima go betsa lengwela mo fatshe la go thusa. Ga o bona gantle gore botshelo ba go ke tlhakantsuku fela, ga o bona gore ya ko pelo teng go morago o se kwa labela wa lebala thapelo. Ntho botlhoka gape ma neno nga kompotsa gape ke eng gape leng gore ke ile ra gala kgotsa bone batho ba leng gore ke ile ba thusa ba leng gore wa bona gore yone this is my most memorable moment o bone gore mo gone mo ke kgonne go ira phetogo e tona gampe bile ka bona le gone gore santsane ke ipetsa sefuba ka yone tiro ke dirile mo gone batho ba babedi ba.
Okay, it wasn't really on a relationship, the male and the female, right? But it was a relationship between a mother and a daughter. Right? Now, what happened here is when I do my consultations, I use both maternal and paternal surnames. But then it happened on that day, I cannot connect with the paternal surname. And now the sad part is telling the patient, Bona, I doubt this man ke papa gago. It was so sad. I just didn't know how to say it. But I told her, Bona, I cannot connect with the paternal. There is something about the paternal. Please go and ask your mother. And then she said to me, okay, I've been having dreams and I've been having suspicions about this surname. Right? Okay. As I do the reading, I had a vision of the father and a house mo apilong ang koteng. And luckily enough, the patient confirmed gore we normally used to visit this house, but we didn't know gore ke ko kae. And then she went home at Amaya Afita a confront Mewahai. Of which the mother has been in denial of taking out the truth all along.
Oh, masisa pelo fe.
Why understand that? Now, the mother didn't have a choice because already I identified the house, I identified the father, the description, and the daughter said, okay, mama, kontlung ele, kiko kai, ke habo mang. I remember neridula re ya koteng. Only then me a confirm gore askisi whatever happened kwa go khale but ntate ole ke ena ntate go tswalang. And the lady called me immediately. You know, she was crying, she was hysterical. I don't know how you picked that up, but ibile as in tomorrow we are going there. And then they went, haba fitla kwale, identity, like it didn't need DNA. Identity was like, I belong here. Yes. Why understand? So issues like this or incidents like this didn't get motivated, didn't get proud of the work that I'm doing. And for someone also believing gore dintho tse so di a etsagala. I can say bo sentsane we metse eng o batla o believe jwang. You know, when we do consultations or readings, it's not only about how it's deep. It's deep, the root of the problem. But now going back to this patient, the lady, she always had problems of finding jobs. She always had problems of being accused and everything. It's because of the root of the problem in identity high. Identity wrong.
Yo.
Yes, the root.
Hey, ma, go YouTube with him, ma. So we have a comment from Utsidi saying my spiritual mother, and then also Hector, my Hector Wheeler, Hector Takalane is back. So Hector ke wanya lo gore o remotla etse teng mo mogae e bile o dulantsha commenta gape teng mo. Yanong Hector Wheeler gape are oh yes mama, it's never been wrong to be wrong.
Yes.
Wa bua gape are we are fixing the country ma.
Yes.
O bona ntse ke buang ya gore mama ntse wa buang gore gompieno re lokisa dilo tse dintsi tse leng gore batho ne ba sa di bone tse leng gore ba di tlhoka mo botshelong e bile le ene motho ke yo teng fa lena ba bua gore gompieno re lokisa naga.
Yes.
O ka re tlo bua gape ma. Okay, so gona no ra go bua ka real life impact le di testimonies gore o ka khona okay besides stories e leng gore fetsa gore bolella ka sona gona ne se seng fela se leng gore ka khona le leng gore tiro ya go bila khona thusa motho gore a khona thola kagiso e bile a bone botshelo ba go bilang bosentse bosibula.
Okay. Okay, the first one ki etsagala ko church, ne? We have a church ko gae, St. Gilead Church of Prophecy. The fun part or the exciting part is hari berekisi any other thing but we use prayer. Rena le nako ya letsha mo batho ba tlang ba khunama mo fatshe and then ra ba gasa ka metsi in a form of cleansing them and then ra ba fa thapelo. You know, we've had positive feedback ya gore batho ba thola mosebetsi. Hauna stlare, hauna swasho, hauna anything e berekisitsweng but prayer.
Metsi le thapelo fela.
Metsi le thapelo. And people ba thotse mesebetsi. Right? And then on the other part of me being a healer, I've resolved several conflicts between parents and their children. Honali the part ela ya gore ngwana o spiritually gifted, but ka montlong o ka re ha sa performa gantle, o ba rebellious, o ba mathata and all that. And ha ba ilo etsa consultation o tholele gore bothata ke eng ke the gift part. Now that's where we start. We're building a relationship between mother and daughter or mother and son by not only invoking that stunya or uplifting the spirits, but we also aligning the mental health ya ngwana ole, because going back to gore ke ilo heala batho ba mang, I cannot heal other people nna ke so heal. I cannot go and heal other people nna self ke so heal. Why understand? So a lot of counseling is being done gape, and then I've also had incidents where someone would say, okay, there is this incident here. The guy, it's actually a guy. Une a fellwa ke mosebetsi, right? Une a fellwa ke mosebetsi because they were having a fight with the girlfriend. And now, as baba le a fight, the girlfriend abatla gore a ilo mo senyetsa ko mosebetsi. Yes, I understand. And now the guy already was given a warning and a final written warning. If something like this happens, and then he came, anka treatment, it's a treatment, and yena unabatla gore re tlose the female ka mo ntlong ka re bona. I don't do that. We're not going to remove the female, but the treatment that I'm giving you, ki yona e tlo etsang gore o be motho o bonagale, even le ko mosebetsing ba khone go go bona. And then this person, yena self the energy tsa tsamang ka tsona di tla itlosa. Even lisidimo sa hao se tla khona go go lwanela bona ke bona ba tla mo chiefang their own way. And it happened. It happened 2 weeks after that. The guy was calling me excited. Me bona mosebetsi ki yo ibile ke thotse promotion. Ibile ke thotse promotion. And mosadi o kae mosadi o tswile o ngadile fela a ingalla itshwalla dibeke a tsamaye. Why understand? It's sad. It's sad because mosadi o tsamaile and bana ba tlo struggle, but the behavior ya mosadi or even the attitude ke yona e khositseng bothata bo. So it khutlisetsa back to the part ele ya ko Proverbs ering mosadi o bohlale o agala pala hae wa le watla wetsang wa le thuba
Salantsa thuba fela.
Yes.
Hey ma, ntarwele teng fale gape ko YouTube re nani Zinze Elizabeth. Our mama is sharing very profound information which will help many, including myself. Thanks for coming to the show, ma. And then wa gape Zinze are indeed one needs to be open-minded in life because it's easier to learn and adapt.
Yes.
And then re nane gape le lebogang are me motswadi ke me ke a tumelenyana ka rena ga ke bone ke sefofana.
Okay.
Me motswadi ke me o ke mme re sotlega ka go tlhoka knowledge but re leboga modimo ka wena. And then be re bua gape le tshidi gape wa boa are Gobella's like mama of you, her honesty, transparency, dedication and love helped us grow spiritually as her spiritual kids.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Ra bona gore tiro ya go yone ntsi bile le bana ba go bone ba te ba tsena teng fa ba commenta ba leboga gore mama ene re thusitse mo tsone ditsela tse bimatseleng gore tsamele go tsone ke mong gapelena wa kena le ene mokoma are my spiritual mom.
But o ka re go tletse bona fela ya
ke re tshwantse ba tlhaga gore ba khone bontsha lerato le tebogo ke re bela ga te motho go thusitse sa lontse boela teng ko morago sa lontse leboga wane mabogo leng gore khone go.
And it's also a good sign for those ba ileng gore ba mametse ba na le mathata, and now referral ke yona eo ya gore we can also go there and get help.
Ba bone gore batho bone ba teng setse ba thotse thusi le khonne go ba thusa. So mane ke ba tlitse gore tiro ya go yone ibila go fetola jang mo di jareng tse leng gore di fitile gore khone go ba motho leng gore o yene gona no mo sone se tshabeng sena. And then potso me ya bobedi before re tswale ke gore ke fo molaitse leng gore siela batho ba ileng gore santsane ba fokola teng mo moyeng ibile ga ba itse le gore ba ntse ba ya kae ke feng molaitse leng gore o ka ba neletsa ono gore o sa lo ba kokobetsa o sa lo ba motivator gore ba batho ba ileng gore ba siame mo setšhabeng bile ba kgona bona gore ba ya kae.
All right, can you go back to the first question?
Okay, the first question is, how has your work changed you personally over the years?
Okay. Ke motho wa nama le madi. I have my downfalls, I have my ups. But one thing I've learned is prayer heals everything. Prayer heals everything. And for me to be able to heal the people that I'm healing, I had to go and heal myself. Because Lena, I also have issues I needed to heal from. When I started taking this gift, to me it was like, because I was sick, it's a part of healing. But I didn't take it, I will be who I am today. But I've learned to grow, daily as I've met different people and different incidents, and I'm still learning. You can never say, as much as Kerekenale 30 plus years, I want to experience more. But I continue to learn as I heal different people. And there's other healers by Longkore. I look up to them. And then, they motivate me to live by every day.
That's amazing, Ma. So as I said, what are your words of inspiration to anybody who and then after that to go probably batho gore ga ile gore ba batla go khomana le wena ke ba go thola ko kae mogatla le theka ga ile gore o khone o ne letsana ka one ke feng and then le gore ba ka o thola kae ko social media.
All right. Ntho ya pele ha o tlokare o stakile dintho di kwalegile ska dula fela. Ska dula fela a gona ntho e tlo itlelang thuso ha o pressa 911 o pressa the button ya call iatswa iakwa the minute call e fihla wa bua but once wa thula that person o ka ko sighting I never khona tseba gore ke go thusa ka eng. Why understand? So go out there, start looking for help. Hudula fela will not help. And prayer, as much as relebatu, at times re rapela because of 1, 2, 3, at times matata arimela to a point we don't pray much. But itlwaetse gore o rapele. And another thing is going to church. Going to church, someone will say, "I man, like yes, it's true, but being in a group of prayers, it motivates you. But there are other people Why understand? So I would say motivate yourself. Wa expect you need to stand up and start fighting for your life.
Amen to
but
that.
But happily thing, ubeli perseverance, ubeli khotlello. A gona ntho e lokang ka a day or 2 days. You will pray today and expect something to happen on Friday, and it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Pray and pray and pray until something happens. Right. Okay. More social media. Ko TikTok. My name is Healing Malesa Lekwape. Facebook as well. Malesa Healing Malesa Lekwape. And then my cell phone numbers. WhatsApp 078-474-7723. Gitola gala ko Dobsonville mo extension 3. Gona mo khaufi mo pela BP mole
ma wa o tisi sia walker tisi ula ai sia ya ma o mo kante na rona khakala kanto teng ha mo pana hey ma. So let me read the last 2 YouTube comments. So we have Hector coming in. Hector ka bona mo khopile man wa bo man o enjoy gompieno blane re motlise ke re keng o itumetse. Hector are being hard-headed it's an option, it's not a lifestyle. And then be ba gapele taka Makani B. Our Gogo is authentic and genuine with helping people. She speaks from a place of helping people, please, as she's given the gift and using it beautifully. Then rena no mong gape fetsa go kena ke mapuleng are mama hlebana modimo le badimo ba bua through this woman. Ai ma ga bona sentle gore tshwantse re go buise gape teng ha re tlo kgona ga nna sentle re meke dikgantse tsa rona gape le rona mo studio re kgone ithuta intline le bone batho ba ileng gore ba lebeletse le bone ba kgone tsa maele mo tsone dithuto tsa go tseleng gore na ne tsone cause ai ke batlo bua gore ai le nna gompieno nkwetse molomo nna ke motho buang na gompieno nkwetse molomo ma. And then to the Vooka Breakfast Show, man, I hope you guys are doing amazing and thank you very much for tuning in to Konala to a wonderful, amazing and insightful Spiritual Thursday because had me flabbergasted. Like I kept quiet and I zoned out for a couple of times because it was too much information to handle at the same time. But for me, as you know, Afri Berry, also known as Miss Berry Blaze, but to the darker the berry, the sweeter than Ton Ton. His song on Amani. Can't wait to see you again tomorrow because thank God it's Friday. Today, quarter to weekend, but tomorrow it's a Friday and I'll definitely keep you in tune with your gig, guys. So you know where to go on a Friday, Saturday and Sunday. But most importantly, keep safe, man. So peace out, lovies.